Chapter 116. Shut up. Li Fan is a bit annoyed. Who is it that dares to disturb my mind? Everyone is bullying you. Have you forgotten? The voice continues to whisper in Li Fan's ear. Could it be that you can endure it? I will use my strength to defeat them. Li Fan immediately says, Who are you? Why are you chirping in my ear? So annoying. I am you. Could it be that you can't even recognize your own voice? The voice continues, all of these are your own voice. The heavens are unfair. All living things are like dogs. Why are you bitterly defending this useless righteousness? So it is my heart's devil. Li Fan laughs. Murongying said that when one cultivates to a certain realm, they will encounter their own heart's devil. It seems like this dragon toad's absorption of water is indeed an evil technique. With the addition of the minor phaseless divine technique's evil aura, it managed to lure you out. I am originally you. What is there to be lured out? The voice sneers, Li Fan. Could it be that you have forgotten? When you were in school, how those people oppressed you? Your teacher, your classmates, how did they bully you? And that Murongying. She is so high and mighty. Could it be that you don't want to conquer her under your crotch? Hearing this, Li Fan goes silent for a moment. Without knowing why, he is unable to refute the heart's devil's words. Release me, and you can be the only one. The voice seems to be right beside his ear, but it also seems to be far away. Release me, and you can move unhindered under the heavens. The voice is tempting Li Fan. But Li Fan tries his best to empty his mind and ignore the voice. What heart's devil, I can just ignore it. Li Fan re-enters his inner vision and starts to mobilize his chi. Under Li Fan's control, this huge chi starts to attack the fifth acupoint. As long as he breaks through this acupoint, he will be able to open the fifth realm. At that time, he would be a true expert. However, attacking the fifth acupoint was not as simple as absorbing Li Wenjue's true chi. This fifth acupoint was like a sturdy wall. No matter how hard Li Fan tried, he couldn't move it at all. As expected, it wasn't that easy to break through his inner force. However, Li Fan was not discouraged and continued to work hard to conquer this position. His true chi was like a ferocious cavalry, attacking again and again, crazily attacking the fifth meridian point. Finally, under Li Fan's prolonged attacks, a crack appeared on the sturdy city wall. Try harder. Li Fan cheered himself on. He maintained his patience and continued to conquer step by step. He didn't know how much time had passed, but he was already covered in cold sweat. While he was concentrating on overcoming the difficulties, Murongying also returned home. She was slightly surprised to see Li Fan in the practice room. This was because 4 puffs of white smoke had appeared above Li Fan's head and were slowly drifting towards his head. 4 flowers at one's prominence. Murongying was very envious. Not everyone could have this thing. It represented a person's talent. She was already talented and had a clear bone structure, but she was only at 3 flowers at one's prominence. As for Li Fan, he was actually at 4 flowers at one's prominence, which was 1 more flower than her. Although this boy looked ordinary, he had amazing talent in martial arts. The pure young constitution was great. Why couldn't she have a male body? If she also had a pure young constitution, she would have been a grandmaster a long time ago. However, there was a faint trace of black on Li Fan's face. Murongying's face darkened. He hadn't been practicing martial arts for long, but he had already encountered an inner demon. However, it seemed normal. After all, Li Fan's strength had improved too quickly, as if he had advanced by leaps and bounds. It was impossible for ordinary people to cultivate to the point of perfection without 8 to 10 years. However, Li Fan was an exception. In less than 2 months, he had already reached this level. As the saying went, it was difficult to cultivate for 1,000 years, but easy to become a demon overnight. Practicing martial arts originally had to be done step by step. Once one's strength increased too quickly, and one's state of mind could not keep up, then inner demons would be born. She hoped that Li Fan could resolve this inner demon and not become a demon. Murongying stood in front of the door, quietly looking at Li Fan as if she was waiting for him. At this moment, Li Fan had reached a critical juncture. Many cracks had appeared on the 5th acupoint, and he was about to conquer it. However, at this moment, a strong flow of qi flowed out from the fifth acupoint and hit Li Fan's qi. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. What was going on? There was actually a flow of true qi? Was this the fifth acupoint's final resistance? Well, young master would not be afraid of you. Li Fan took a deep breath, stabilized the true qi that was almost scattered, and then intertwined with the true qi that flowed out from the acupoint. Hard work pays off. Under Li Fan's hard work, he finally destroyed the last bit of true qi that was resisting stubbornly. The fifth acupoint also became unobstructed, and a comfortable feeling flowed into Li Fan's body. Li Fan felt as if his eyes and ears had become sharper. When he opened his eyes, he could even see the fine hair on Murongying's face. He had indeed become stronger. This kind of feeling made Li Fan feel especially comfortable. However, he also had a feeling that he could feel the true qi flowing in Murongying's body. It was so tempting, as if it was an unstoppable delicacy, enticing him. This feeling was like a vampire seeing the blood flow in a human's body. Very strange. Absorb all her true qi. That hoarse voice rang in his ear again. You can become stronger. Go, absorb all her. Absorb all your grandpa. Shut up. Li Fan scolded in his heart, and the voice slowly dissipated. The heart demon originates from your weakness. At this time, Murongying spoke. Similarly, it will also dissipate in your strength. You actually saw through it. Li Fan was a little surprised. What kind of eyes does this Murongying have? Of course. Murongying was a little proud. How can such a small matter be hidden from me? You don't have to worry. The heart demon is a step that every martial artist will experience. There is a first time for everything. Don't be afraid. Damn, why does this sentence sound a little wrong? Li Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry, but he was a little itchy. He hooked his finger at Murongying. Wife, tonight I am going to climb into your bed. No wonder there is a heart demon. You are really not steady at all. Murongying laughed. All right, tonight I will personally test you and see if you have the ability to climb into my bed. Good, good, good. Remember what you said. Li Fan was overjoyed. I am not the previous Li Fan. You better be careful. Chapter 117. Fighting with Murongying once again, Li Fan was full of confidence. After all, he had advanced a level and entered the next level. This unprecedented confidence made Li Fan even more excited. To be fair to you, I won't use my sword. Murongying unexpectedly showed mercy today, which made Li Fan somewhat surprised. No need, I want to fight you with all my strength. But Li Fan was arrogant. How could he be willing to let Murongying go easy on him? But Murongying smiled sweetly, stretched out 2 fingers and said, there is a sword in my heart. With that, she pointed 2 fingers at Li Fan, and a sword qi suddenly brushed past Li Fan's cheek and hit the wall behind him. A bloodstain appeared on Li Fan's cheek, and a small crack appeared on the wall behind him, leading to the outside world. What the? Has Murongying's swordsmanship already reached such a high level? No wonder she is the leader of the Wulin Alliance. With just a lift of her hand, there is sword qi. I already felt that Murongying was amazing, but only today did I realize that I still underestimated her. Li Fan, after 3 days, I have to look at you in a different light. Murongying said, although I have to look at you in a different light, these few days I have recovered very quickly. After all, I have returned to the peak. Damn. Li Fan almost collapsed. How could this woman also advance a level? Humph, so what if I am a level lower? Today I will challenge someone of a higher level. Li Fan said in an extraordinary manner, but Murongying shook her finger. No, 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 this is not a matter of a level, but a whole realm. The gap of a realm cannot be made up with brute force and skill. It can be said that a master of the peak can fight more than 10 masters of the next level without any problem. On the other hand, a super expert like Murongying, who was close to the level of a grandmaster, could fight 100 of them alone. Don't look down on me, my wife. You'll be the one to suffer when the time comes. As Li Fan spoke, he circulated the qi in his dantian, and the 7 heroes' force spread throughout his body. The 7 heroes' force made Li Fan stronger and his senses more sensitive. At the same time, Li Fan could directly feel the power of Murongying. This woman was indeed very powerful. Her entire body was covered in sword chi, but in that instant, in the blink of an eye, the sword chi was absorbed into her body. Quiet as a virgin, quick as a rabbit. It was fine if Murong Ying did not make a move, but once she did, the world would be turned upside down. Competing with Murong Ying, Li Fan had to be extremely careful. He gathered his chi and prepared to fight with Murong Ying. Li Fan, I've known you for so long, but this is the first time you've seen my Murong family's secret technique, Fallen Hero's Sword Technique. Murong Ying said, this Fallen Hero's Sword Technique is overbearing but not lacking in nimbleness. The most important thing is that it complements my martial god technique, allowing me to, heavens, down, none, double. With that, Murong Ying stretched out her hand and released her sword chi towards Li Fan. For the first time, Li Fan saw that sword chi could also take shape. In front of him, a lotus flower formed by sword chi slowly bloomed, releasing intense sword chi, like the petals of the lotus flower, in an instant, attacking in all direction. What the fuck? Needless to say, Li Fan was shocked. So, when martial arts reached Murong Ying's level, it turned out to be like this. Incorporeal chi and sword chi could actually take form. There are 3 major obstacles in martial arts, and I've already broken through one of them. You better watch carefully. Murong Ying looked at Li Fan, who was using immortal crane flapping wings to send her sword chi flying, with a smile. This is one of the 3 major obstacles, turning nothingness into reality. The chi in your body, including my sword chi, can all turn from nothingness into a tangible object. How to turn a gaseous object into a tangible object, this is what you need to learn next. With that, Murong Ying opened her right hand, and that large lotus flower seemed to have color, and suddenly disperse. The lotus flower disappeared, and the room seemed to be covered with pink cherry blossoms, all formed by Murong Ying's sword chi. These cherry blossoms flew out in all directions, looking extremely beautiful, but hidden within them was killing intent. Li Fan kept waving his hands, using 120% of immortal crane flapping wings in an attempt to send these sword chi flying. But there were too many cherry blossom sword chi, and in the blink of an eye, a lot of them slipped through the net, passing through Li Fan's body, leaving many small wounds. Looking at the beautiful curve on Murong Ying's lips, Li Fan was very unhappy. Damn it, I can't let this woman look down on me. Bear, mount, army. Li Fan roared angrily, and his body suddenly expanded a bit. The shirt that he was wearing was torn again. This move was really a little troublesome. He was too wasteful. Li Fan secretly felt his heart ache. Abnormal bone changing. Murong Ying seemed a little surprised, as if she didn't expect Li Fan to be able to use such profound martial art. There were 3 major obstacles in martial arts: turning nothingness into reality, abnormal bone changing, and heart and demon unification. She had gone through untold hardships to break through one of the major obstacles, which was turning nothingness into reality, which was why she was regarded as a peerless genius by her family. And this Li Fan actually comprehended abnormal bone changing in such a short period of time? This was a little too unfair. At this moment, Murong Ying's heart was not balanced, and she actually felt a little jealous. With a wave of her hand, a row of cherry blossom sword chi had already arrived in front of Li Fan. This time, she had lost her composure, and forgot to be merciful. And facing so many cherry blossom sword chi, Li Fan could only stretch out his hands in panic, blocking in front of his body. Fortunately, after entering the bear cavalry, Li Fan's defense had greatly increased. When the cherry blossom sword chi hit his body, it collided with Li Fan's protective chi, creating golden sparks. However, there were still some that penetrated his true chi and stabbed into his body, leaving more scars on Li Fan's body. Li Fan raised his arm, withstood the cherry blossom sword chi, and walked step by step towards Murong Ying. After entering the bear cavalry, other than the bear strike technique, Li Fan could not use any other moves. He could only endure and charge forward. Murong Ying frowned. Was Li Fan crazy? She increased the speed of the cherry blossom sword chi, trying to force Li Fan back. But not only did Li Fan not retreat, a smile slowly appeared on his face. He seemed to be very happy. He had clearly suffered so many injuries, but could he still be happy? Just as Murong Ying was hesitating, Li Fan's hand was already on her shoulder. "I've caught you." Li Fan's eyes flickered with joy. Following that, he lifted with one hand, and Murong Ying's body was directly grabbed by him. "Who?" Li Fan threw Murong Ying's body heavily towards the ground like a sack. Chapter 118. Heart-Piercing Sword. Murong Ying pointed a finger at Li Fan and a cherry blossom sword chi shot towards the center of Li Fan's eyebrows in an attempt to stop Li Fan's attack. However, Li Fan stretched out his right hand and shattered the sword chi. Bam! Murong Ying's body heavily smashed onto the ground. She was actually at a disadvantage. Li Fan had succeeded for the first time. He was extremely happy, but without any hesitation, he had already raised his foot and attempted to step on Murong Ying. Bear trample. During the day, Li Fan had relied on this foot to step on Li Wenjue and cause him to vomit blood. However, Murong Ying was Murong Ying. The title of Martial Arts Alliance Master was not obtained for nothing. When she was only 16 years old, she had already challenged all the dojos under the heavens and won all the famous sect. Her combat experience was very rich. Although she was shocked by Li Fan's moves, she quickly reacted. Li Fan's series of smashing, stomping, and kicking were continuous techniques. Even if she suffered the first move, if she dodged the next one, Li Fan's attack would be ineffective. Murong Ying's right hand slapped the ground and her body immediately slid out lightly. She landed on a wooden stake at the side and maintained the posture of a golden rooster standing on one leg. Then, she pointed two fingers at Li Fan. "1,000 Li falling petals." With a delicate shout, the cherry blossom sword chi that filled the room suddenly gathered together and spun towards Li Fan. Li Fan's body was hit. Countless cherry blossom sword chi pushed his body and pushed him heavily against the wall behind him. Bam! Li Fan spat out a mouthful of blood. This time, his injuries were not light. Murong Ying was not a gentle girl. When it came to a real fight, she would not hold back. Li Fan slid down to the ground and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He used his inner force to heal himself and thought of a way to deal with the situation. Other than the toad strike technique, all his moves were basically close combat techniques. If he were to fight with Murong Ying, he would be at a disadvantage. Moreover, the toad strike technique's qigong circulation was somewhat slow, so it was not suitable to deal with Murong Ying's fast sword energy. How about it? Do you admit defeat? Murong Ying looked at Li Fan with some pride. As a beginner, you haven't mastered it yet. She had already recovered to the strength of 9 tigers and 2 dragons. She was not far from her previous strength of 4 dragons. Especially since she knew how to turn nothing into something. If she was defeated by Li Fan, it would really be a joke. "I won't admit defeat." Li Fan's brain quickly turned, he glanced at his own fingers. Murong Ying could use her fingers to release sword chi, then could he also use his fingers to release true chi? With this idea in mind, Li Fan compressed his true chi and gathered it on his fingers. Imagining the principle of a pistol, Li Fan raised his right hand and extended his thumb and fingers. Like a pistol, he aimed at Murong Ying. Murong Ying slightly tilted her head, not knowing what Li Fan's intention was. At this time, the true chi in Li Fan's body had been forced to the tip of his index finger. Li Fan immediately felt a swelling sensation on his index finger, giving him the urge to shoot it. Sigh, why is this idea so evil? Li Fan shook off his unnecessary thoughts, then aimed at Murong Ying. Pa! True chi exploded from Li Fan's index finger and turned into a pillar of chi, quickly shooting towards Murong Ying. Murong Ying was shocked. She did not expect Li Fan to have such a strange move. She subconsciously adjusted the cherry blossom sword chi, condensing it into a ball in front of her in an attempt to block Li Fan's attack. Bam! However, Li Fan's attack was extremely powerful, and Murong Ying's sword chi defense was actually broken. The bullet formed from true chi hit Murong Ying's shoulder, but because it had consumed too much chi, it was unable to break through Murong Ying's protective aura. Even so, the power was still astonishing. Murong Ying was forced to take a step back, and the cherry blossom sword chi that she controlled also dissipated, turning into an invisible air current that blew open the window behind her. Her beautiful eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Li Fan, momentarily speechless. In such a short period of time, this seemingly ordinary high school youth had already improved to a realm that even she was surprised by. That shot of true chi just now. It actually had such power. How is it? I already said that I will definitely surpass you. Li Fan pointed at Murong Ying. Come, let us continue to fight for 300 round. No need. Murong Ying put down her hands, and said with a slight smile, this time you win. Really? Li Fan does not believe his ears. Murong Ying actually admitted defeat. Yes, I originally only wanted to use the strength of a higher level to defeat you. Murong Ying openly admitted, but you forced me to use the strength of a higher level, so it can be considered as your victory. Haha, then should we? Your head is always thinking of those messy things. Murong Ying said snappily, I just praised you, and now you are not thinking properly. If you were to use all these messy thoughts on training, you might become stronger. Little girl, training martial arts must be done step by step, steadily and surely. How can you think of advancing by leaps and bounds every day? Humph, using your lewd thoughts as an excuse. How could that be? My wife, you see, aren't the two of us very close? How could I have those lewd thoughts? Then can we cancel the agreement? Murong Ying immediately asked. Wait a minute, I'll take off my pants first. Pervert, I'll kill you. Murong Ying stretched out her hand, and petals of cherry blossom sword chi faintly formed. Hey, my wife, don't be like this. Didn't you say that you will keep your words? But you still haven't completely defeated me. Murong Ying rolled her eyes, and then slightly blushed and said, then you can kiss me. But, be gentle, don't disturb the baby. Disturb your sister's baby, you're not even pregnant. Li Fan could not help but ridicule in his heart, but this opportunity cannot be missed. First, let's have a 360-degree fancy kiss. But he must pay attention to control his pure young body, lest he absorb true chi from Murong Ying's mouth, that would not be good. Li Fan reminded himself, and then slowly walked towards Murong Ying. Murong Ying seemed to be somewhat flustered, and actually closed her eyes. My wife, are you shy? Li Fan recalled the time when the two of them first met. At that time, Murong Ying kissed him so decisively. Looking at now, is she shy? Nonsense. Murong Ying snorted from her throat. When would I be afraid? I just don't want to see your face, I hate you. Then just close your eyes. Li Fan whispered in her ear, it's enough that I like looking at you. Murong Ying seemed to tremble slightly, and began to wait for this long overdue kiss. Chapter 119. Murong Ying closed her eyes and did not dare to use her vital energy to sense the surroundings. It was as if she did not even dare to use her vital energy to touch Li Fan. But the kiss that she was waiting for did not come. Li Fan leaned on her body. This guy, he was too bold. She was the chief of the martial arts circle, how could he be so rude? But he was her fiancé, and also the father of her child. Even if he hugged her, there was nothing wrong with it. But they were not married yet. No, she had to teach him a lesson so that he would know the rules. What are you waiting for, Murong Ying? Go. Murong Ying secretly urged herself, but she did not move for a long time. But what made her feel strange was that Li Fan did not move for a long time, as if he was greedy for her embrace. She felt that something was wrong, so she opened her eyes and found that Li Fan had fallen asleep. He was obviously sleeping soundly, as if no one could disturb him. This guy actually fell asleep at such a crucial time. Murong Ying was so angry that she could not bear it. He made her wait for a long time, but he should be too tired. After all, he fought with her and suffered some injuries. Looking at Li Fan who was sleeping soundly, Murong Ying could not help but feel a little warm in her heart. This annoying guy would only be serious when he was asleep. Sigh, she did not know whether it was right or wrong for her to find such a childish fiancé. But no matter what the result was, she, Murong Ying, would bear it. This was her own choice, and she would walk down this path. Li Fan was indeed tired. He had experienced 2 big battles in a day and had a breakthrough in his strength. He slept from 6 o'clock that night to 6 o'clock the next morning. After a full 12 hours of sleep, the meridians in Li Fan's body had automatically operated and recovered his vital energy. You're awake. When Li Fan opened his eyes, he saw Murong Ying sitting beside him. This was strange. In the past, he would see Tai Zhu when he opened his eyes, but today he saw another person. Strange. How did you come out of my dream? Li Fan asked subconsciously. Murong Ying blushed and rolled her eyes at Li Fan. What nonsense are you talking about? I was afraid that you would be haunted by your inner demons at night, so I purposely watched over you. If you suddenly turn into a demon, I will personally kill you to prevent future trouble. My wife. You're too vicious. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. As the saying goes, 100 years of cultivation can be spent on the same bed, and 1,000 years of cultivation can be spent on the same pillow. We've been husband and wife for a lifetime. How can you do this? That's called crossing the same boat for 100 years. Murong Ying's eyes were about to roll to the sky. You're not being serious again. Sooner or later, you'll be eaten by the heart demon. How am I improper? I want to be intimate with my wife. Isn't this the most normal reaction of a man? Li Fan said very seriously, Wife, if I don't have feelings for you, then there's something wrong with me. Oh. Do I have to thank you for what you said? That's not necessary. We're a family, so there's no need to be so polite. Li Fan immediately said, How can you be so polite to your own man? That's too much. Go to hell. You're already panting after just a few sentences. Murong Ying was busy rolling her eyes today. When it comes to these useless things, you're especially talkative. Wife, how can you say that? Li Fan sighed deeply. What I said is from the bottom of my heart. I don't want much. Actually, I just want to be able to be together with my wife peacefully and spend the rest of our lives together. That's enough. As a man, how can you be so lacking in ambition? Murong Ying couldn't help but reprimand him. As a man, I naturally know that I have to be strong. Li Fan looked out the window. But ever since I met you, my biggest dream changed. I just want to stay by your side and spend the rest of my life with you. What martial arts alliance leader, #1 in the world, these are just fleeting clouds. As long as I have you, these are really not worth mentioning. You. Do you really think so? Murong Ying seemed to be touched. That's right. Furthermore, there's something. Ari, forget it. Let's not talk about it. What is it? Hurry up and say it. Seeing Li Fan hesitating, Murong Ying subconsciously felt that something was wrong and immediately urged him. It's really. I'm ashamed to say it, hurry up and say it. Actually, yesterday, I fought with Li Wenjue again. Li Fan's eyes were filled with sadness. He trained in the minor formless magic art and injured me, causing a lot of damage to my internal organs. What did you say? Murong Ying's face changed. Li Fan smiled bitterly and said, That's why I was so anxious to defeat you yesterday to fulfill my wish. You. Why didn't you say it earlier? No matter what, I'm also a man. Li Fan coughed twice. I'm just regretting that I'm so young, but I can't live for long. I'm sorry to my parents. In the end, I didn't even have a son or daughter. You can't die. Murong Ying pulled Li Fan's hand. Li Fan's eyes were filled with tears. I don't want to die. But my own body, I know, I won't let you die. I'll find someone to save you. Murong Ying said and was about to get up. However, Li Fan pulled her back. It's too late. Distant water can't quench present thirst. I just hope that I can leave behind some incense. Don't worry. I'll definitely raise our child into an adult. Murong Ying's eyes seemed to turn red. Li Fan explained. Wife, you might have misunderstood. Kissing can't make you pregnant. Two people can only get pregnant when they sleep together. So that's how it is. Murong Ying nodded her head. You're reaching the end of your lifespan. As your wife, I should leave behind some incense for you. Li Fan was overjoyed. There's a way. There's a way. Wife is really considerate. To have a wife like you, I have no regrets in this life. What more can I ask for? Don't say that. I'll definitely find a way to save you. Although the lesser formless god technique is overbearing, Murong Ying's martial god technique is not to be trifled with. Murong Ying frowned. Her voice had also gone up by an octave. I might not be able to wait for much longer, Li Fan coughed again. Wife. Help your husband undress. You. Must be gentle, Murong Ying immediately said. I will. Also. I want to be on top. Although she did not understand, Murong Ying had heard some of the servants talking about it. Fine. Since I can't do it anymore, I'll do as you say. Li Fan kept nodding his head but did not dare to show any impatient look. He was afraid that Murong Ying would see through him. Just a little bit more. You must not fail. Li Fan, you can do it. You're a qualified actor. Besides, this cannot be called cheating. Aren't the two of them husband and wife? This kind of thing, sooner or later, they will have to do it. I'm just trying to take my relationship with Murong Ying a step further. I'm putting in a lot of effort. Just as Murong Ying was about to change her clothes, Li Fan's phone suddenly rang. The phone on the table showed a caller ID. Huang Lei. Chapter 120. Well, don't worry about him. Li Fan wondered why Huang Lei would call him at this time. It was about to happen, okay? Pick it up, let me hear it. Murong Ying said, he is your brother. Before you die, he must want to say something to you. No need, how can a brother be more important than a woman? I don't like to hear this. This is not something a man of the pugilistic world should say. As Murong Ying said this, she had already reached for the phone, picked it up, and put it on speaker. Big brother, today we defeated that Li Wenjue, shouldn't we celebrate? Huang Lei's frivolous voice immediately came through the phone. Big brother, I still have some money. I'll treat you tonight. Let's go to the red light district and visit a prostitute. The corner of Murong Ying's mouth had already hung a smile, and Li Fan began to feel a chill down his spine. Big brother, why aren't you saying anything? If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a silent agreement. Huang Lei's chatterbox continued to nag. Big brother, don't you always complain to me that the tigress at home is too annoying, brainless, retarded, and overbearing? This time, I'll find you a good one. I guarantee that you'll have a good time to vent. Bam! Li Fan's phone had already been smashed into several pieces by the cherry blossom sword Qi, and Li Fan said angrily, yes, wife, good hit. This idiot, I've wanted to scold him for a long time. Every day he wants to take me to a prostitute. Am I that kind of person? I, Li Fan, am a good youth of the new society, a righteous person. How can I tolerate this kind of filthy thing? Really? Murong Ying said lightly, just now, I heard someone say that I'm brainless, retarded, and very overbearing. Nonsense, overbearing. Wife, don't listen to this lowly person's nonsense. Li Fan hurriedly explained, I'm sincere to you, heaven and earth can bear witness. Really? Murong Ying's voice already carried a trace of murderous intent. Li Fan patted his chest, of course, my wife has always been like a fairy in my heart. I don't know where that Huang Lei heard those rumors from. I'll tie him up later and let my wife beat him to vent your anger. Even so, what about your illness? Murong Ying reached out her hand and forcibly placed it on Li Fan's wrist. Your true qi is stable, without any signs of disorder. Li Fan, Li Fan, I really underestimated you. Your acting skills can win an Oscar. Am I all right? Li Fan was pleasantly surprised. Am I really fine? God, I thought I was going to die for sure. Continue acting. Murong Ying crossed her arms and looked at Li Fan with a faint smile. I'll see how long you can act. Wife, stop messing around. It's getting late. I should go to class. The National Day holiday is over. Li Fan's good days are also coming to an end. Murong Ying curled her lips. Who is the one messing around? This guy is too good at reversing right and wrong. Li Fan, do you think you can go to school in a healthy state? Murong Ying raised her eyebrows. Li Fan's heart swayed. Then, wife, you have to support your husband's studies. Li Fan pulled Murong Ying's sleeve and said, your husband is an ambitious and dedicated person. I know my wife can't bear to leave me, but I still have to fight for our future. Humph. When you come back, I'll deal with you. Murong Ying turned around and left Li Fan's room. Li Fan finally let out a sigh of relief. Damn, that was really dangerous. Li Fan couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. He thought to himself, I've finally gotten through this crisis. Damn, I still need to change my phone. But now I'm penniless. A penniless man is no match for a hero. Murong Ying stepped out of the room and called out to the people outside, Master, you must be very careful. Taizhu, go home and get my Luo Ying sword from home. Fuck. This woman wants to take my life tonight. Li Fan sighed. He thought to himself, what should I do with my life? At this time, Taizhu pushed open the door and walked in. He neatly placed the clean school uniform in front of Li Fan. Son-in-law, your school uniform and your new phone. Li Fan took a look. It turned out to be an iPhone 6. It's like you're supporting me. That's too high profile. Li Fan was a little uncomfortable. Taizhu, what phone are you using? Let's exchange. Looking at Taizhu taking out of a 2, Li Fan silently put away the iPhone 6. After all, it's the information age. Without a phone, humans are like losing their souls. He put on his card, put on his school uniform, and left. His first stop was to pick up Lin Yuhin. He didn't know what was wrong with this girl. She insisted that he continue pretending to be her boyfriend. Originally, Li Fan was very against this kind of thing. But when he thought of Lin Yuhin's goal of becoming a psychiatrist, Li Fan couldn't help but soften his heart. This girl didn't have it easy. When it's time to help her, I'll help her. Sigh, I'm really too kind. It's really touching. When Li Fan was secretly happy, Lin Yuhin finally came out of the tube-shaped apartment. Very punctual. Bonus points for you. Lin Yuhin suddenly had a small notebook in her hand. She wrote something on it. What's this? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. The score table. Lin Yuhin said very seriously, now you're my boyfriend. Because you're still in the probation period, of course I have to give you points. If you have enough points in the probation period and pass, then you can officially become my boyfriend. If you don't have enough points, then you'll be eliminated. Wait a minute. Li Fan caught the main point. What does probation period boyfriend mean? When did I say that? You might have forgotten, but we are indeed in the probation period. Lin Yuhin coughed dryly. Her eyes looked a little unnatural. In short, this is a set of procedures to treat your mental illness. Don't you want to cooperate with me? You have to abide by my rules. It feels weird. Li Fan lowered his head as if he was thinking about something. Li Fan, your illness hasn't been completely cured. Lin Yuhin immediately said, you're so young, yet you're already a child husband. Isn't that sick? Ah. Li Fan was a little speechless. Lin Yuhin struck while the iron was hot and continued, moreover, I'm such a beautiful girl, yet you're still picky? I just feel that it's a little sudden. My treatment focuses on the process. Lin Yuhin said seriously, you haven't experienced the taste of real love yet. That's why your mind is twisted and you're willing to be a child husband. This won't do. As a doctor, I have the responsibility to save you from the fire and water. All right then. Li Fan had a feeling of being tricked. Then what's with this score? Chapter 121. Test score. Lin Yuhin proudly shook the little notebook in her hand. It's a very effective treatment method that I thought of. Why do I feel a little confused? What's there to be confused about? It's very simple. Didn't I just say that you have to get a certain score to become my official boyfriend? Then, can I do it when I become your official boyfriend? Li Fan subconsciously asked this question and then coughed twice. Damn it, why did I say it out loud all of a sudden? Lin Yuhin's face instantly turned red. She reached out her hand as if she wanted to pinch Li Fan. But her hand reached out and then retracted back. If it's an official boyfriend and girlfriend, after spending some time together, hey, this kind of thing is not impossible. Really? Li Fan's eyes lit up. There's a chance. After all, I'm not that old-fashioned. Nowadays, relationships between men and women are not so rigid. As long as you're willing to marry me, some things can be done in advance. Lin Yuhin nodded, I mean what I said. I won't say anything that doesn't mean what I said. However, I see that you don't seem to be very willing to accompany me to see a doctor. I think it's better not to force you. After all, a forced melon won't be sweet. Dr. Lin, how can you say that? Li Fan immediately said seriously, you're someone who wants to become a psychologist. How can this kind of small hardship stump you? I'm testing you and training you to see if you can break through all the obstacles and knock down the evil demon of illness. That means, you're willing? I'm willing, of course I'm willing. Li Fan nodded repeatedly. To be able to help Dr. Lin grow is my duty and honor. I have to thank you. Don't be so polite. You're treating me like an outsider. Li Fan puffed out his chest. As an advanced student in the school, it's our duty to help the underachievers. Screw you, you're the underachiever. Lin Yuhin rolled her eyes. You're lying with a straight face. I really admire you. That's because Dr. Lin taught him well. What training? That's called treatment. Yes, cure him. Li Fan nodded heavily. That's exactly what I meant. How many points do I need to pass? If you want to enter the official phase from the internship phase, you have to reach 100 points. Lin Yuhin pointed at the notebook. If I get 0 points, we can only say goodbye. Don't. How many points do I have now? Your basic score is 10. Lin Yuhin said one by one, you're very punctual today. Not bad, 2 more points. However, your hair is still so messy and not tidied up. 2 points will be deducted from your image. So you're still 10 points. Only 10 points. Li Fan was a bit disappointed. Can't you give me more? That will depend on your own performance. Lin Yuhin giggled. If you perform well, you'll get 100 points sooner or later. Do your best, young man. I'm optimistic about you. Thank you. Li Fan was under a lot of pressure. He felt as if he had fallen into Lin Yuhin's trap. Along the way, the young lady was very happy. She kept telling Li Fan about what happened during the holidays. I'm just a middle school tuition student. He actually wants me to be his girlfriend. Hey, this Shota is quite cute. You don't even let off a middle school student. Li Fan pedaled his bicycle. His face sunk. An old cow eating young grass, animal. Go to hell. You're the animal. Lin Yuhin pinched Li Fan. I just think this kid is cute. Stop it. How can a middle school student be cute? What era do you think we're in? Li Fan reminded Lin Yuhin. Give him a chance and he'll sleep with you. Go, go, go. Your thinking is so evil. Lin Yuhin said angrily. Based on your thinking, this world is so scary. Anyway, you should be more careful. Don't drink the water that he gave you. Li Fan reminded her again. Don't worry. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm still vigilant. Lin Yuhin hugged Li Fan's waist. She giggled. Are you jealous? Of course I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. Li Fan didn't deny it. Right now, we're interning boyfriend and girlfriend. This is called striking the bell as long as you're a monk. Strike your sister. You're the monk. What kind of metaphor is that? How did you learn your language? Lin Yuhin rolled her eyes. I'll definitely learn Chinese from teacher Lin, Li Fan said immediately. That's more like it. Lin Yuhin hesitated for a moment before asking softly. Li Fan. Let me ask you a question. You must answer me seriously. Ayo, you're asking the wrong person. I've always been a very serious person. I don't like to joke around. Cut it out. Lin Yuhin spat and asked, let me ask you. Do you like me? Huh? Li Fan was stunned. Why would Lin Yuhin suddenly ask such a question? This wasn't like her. Don't misunderstand. This is a discussion about your illness. Lin Yuhin immediately emphasized, I need to know your current psychological condition. All right. Li Fan thought for a moment. I don't think I like you. But I have a good impression of you. Humph. Lin Yuhin snorted heavily. She was the campus belle. The number of boys chasing after her could line up from the second high school to the neighboring county, but this Li Fan actually said that he only had a good impression of her, although Li Fan had such a beautiful fiancé. But there was a big gap between the two of them. There would definitely be few common topics. Sooner or later, Li Fan would fall in love with her, Lin Yuhin secretly vowed in her heart. When Li Fan arrived at school, the class was still the same as usual. Some were busy copying homework and some were busy catching up on sleep. He saw Deng Siwei at a glance. This guy was talking loudly at first. But when he saw Li Fan coming in, he immediately quieted down and lowered his head to do the paper. Isn't this Deng Siwei classmate Deng? Li Fan looked at him with a smile and said, I remember you said you wanted to eat shit. How about it? Do you want to eat it hot or cold? We're all classmates. As long as you say something, I'll get it for you. I'm a selfless Lei Feng. I love to help others. Deng Siwei gritted her teeth. This damn Li Fan. Who would have thought that he actually passed all 5 exams? What's the matter, classmate Deng? Are you still a man? Li Fan looked at Deng Siwei and asked, What's the matter? Are you going to break your promise? Chapter 122. What breach of contract? Deng Siwei starts to act shamelessly. With your results, if you have the ability then do better than me. If you can't beat me, what ability do you have? Deng Siwei, as a man, your words are like nails on the board. Li Fan sneers, although your results are not bad, you can't even be considered as a man. With your conduct, no wonder Lin Yuhin doesn't like you. Nonsense. If she doesn't like me, do you think she will like you? Deng Siwei becomes angry. I am Deng Siwei, the second-ranked man in the school. You just passed the passing mark. What qualifications do you have to compete with me? I am the teacher's darling. In the future, I will be able to enter a famous university. When I become successful and become a white-collared worker, you can only muddle through your days, eating and waiting to die. Do you think someone who doesn't study well is worthy to bet with me? Deng Siwei, how can you speak like that? How did we offend you because we don't study well? You are too arrogant. Some of the students who didn't study well are immediately unhappy. This Deng Siwei is too arrogant. She is shooting all over the place and bombarding a group of people. What are you shouting for? What qualifications do you have to shout at me? Deng Siwei roars. Be careful that I tell the teacher that you all ganged up to bully me. Let's see if you all have a good ending. You bunch of scum. You are not worthy to be in the same classroom as me. Bang. Li Fan's fist has already landed heavily on the desk in front of Deng Siwei. This desk immediately breaks into pieces, scaring Deng Siwei so much that she almost peed in her pants. Your fart is too smelly. I can't help but want to beat you up. Li Fan has scared Deng Siwei badly. Deng Siwei, your results are good, but it doesn't mean that you are better than others. Li Fan needs his fist as he coldly looks at Deng Siwei. Even if our starting points are different, we are all equal. As for what the future will be like, it is not up to you, and it is also not up to me. If there really is a day in the future, I, Li Fan, will not eat a single mouthful of rice from you. He pointed at Deng Siwei. If I hear another word of contempt coming out of your mouth, I'll crush your rotten teeth. You dare to threaten me. Deng Siwei took a few deep breaths. Li Fan laughed. Yes, I threatened you. How about it? Go and tell your teacher, you idiot. However, we can't guarantee that you'll still have your limbs intact after telling the teacher. Bai Lin Luo sat in his seat, calmly pushed up his glasses, and muttered. Li Fan, you can beat him up right now. We can't see it anyway. So what if he's good at studying? Maybe he copied it. That's right, plagiarist dog. The surrounding students had long been angered by Deng Siwei's words and were shouting one after another. All of you are talking nonsense. I never plagiarize. Deng Siwei was about to cry. I relied on my own result. Saying that I plagiarized. Which eye of yours saw that? All of you are framing me. It's jealousy. Deng Siwei, you don't have the right to say such words. When Li Fan heard Deng Siwei said so, he immediately curled his lips. How did you start a rumor about me in the past? Just because I scored better than you in history, it's considered plagiarism? Who gave you the right to start a rumor? Which eye of yours saw that? I. Deng Siwei was speechless. Li Fan crossed his arms and looked at her coldly. Deng Siwei, God is watching. No matter how good your results are, you're just a scum. Li Fan, if you have the guts, we'll see in 10 years. Deng Siwei said fiercely. 10 years later, I want you to hug my thighs and lick me. There's no need for 10 years. 5 years is enough. Li Fan stretched out his hand. I'm an easygoing person. If you want to gamble, I'll play with you till the end. The teacher is here. A student at the door reminded him. Li Fan looked at Deng Siwei a few more times before returning to his seat. Chang Chuanxi walked in and saw the broken desk in front of Deng Siwei. He asked in surprise, Deng Siwei, what happened to the desk? The corner of Deng Siwei's mouth twitched slightly. She then gritted her teeth and said, Teacher Chang. The desk is not very sturdy. Go back to the logistics department and get another one. Make do with your deskmate first. Chang Chuanxi was undoubtedly very tolerant of Deng Siwei. He picked up his book and began to teach without even looking at Li Fan. It seemed that the school had begun to adopt a Cold War attitude towards Li Fan. At present, they did not care about him. However, Li Fan knew that things were definitely not that simple. The principal had a blood feud with him. He would never tolerate the fact that his son was beaten up. There's a new English teacher today. Everyone, let's welcome her. After a language class, someone knocked on the classroom door. Chang Chuanxi went out to take a look. He then turned back and said to the students, Your previous teacher is pregnant. She can't teach you for the time being. The students started to discuss. Who was the new teacher? Would she be too strict? Sigh, it would be good if it was a beauty. Wang Chong chuckled. His voice was quite loud. Chang Chuanxi heard it, but he did not say anything. After all, Wang Chong's background was also very strong. Chang Chuanxi did not want to provoke such a student. Just as everyone was discussing, a young beauty wearing black-rimmed glasses walked into the classroom. This beauty had ear-length short hair. She was wearing a white shirt and a black lily skirt. Although it looked simple, it had a scholarly elegance. As she walked in, the boys all swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Beauty, this was a great beauty. Even Li Fan was a little surprised. What was going on recently? Why were there so many beauties running to the school recently? He muttered in his heart, Murong Ying came for me. Could it be that this beautiful teacher also came for me? Hehe, I really like to daydream. This will be your teacher from now on. Teacher Liao, please introduce yourself. Even Chang Chuanxi's eyes were filled with greed when he looked at this beautiful teacher Liao. After all, she was a beauty. Everyone would think about her. But for a beauty like Murong Ying, Chang Chuanxi could only have some thoughts in his heart. He did not even dare to look at her. If one glance made her unhappy and he lost his job, wouldn't that be bad luck? And this teacher Liao was just an ordinary teacher. He was a director. Perhaps he could win her favor. Hello everyone. I am your new teacher. This teacher Liao seemed to be very shy. She lowered her head and introduced herself. I am Liao Wushuang. Wushuang. Such a domineering name. It doesn't resemble the teacher's temperament at all. Teacher, do you have a boyfriend? The student started to jeer, causing Liao Wushuang's face to turn red. Chang Chuanxi coughed twice and scolded, Be quiet for a moment. What are you making noise for? Teacher Liao, ignore them. They are all a bunch of stinking brats. By the way, I have not introduced myself. My name is Chang Chuanxi, unmarried. Chapter 123. This Chang Chuanxi is the one who has no moral integrity. Li Fan couldn't help but curl his lips. What kind of person is this? This is too fucked up. With this, he still has the nerve to call himself a teacher. This is an English class. Chang Chuanxi said a lot of words before leaving. With a beautiful teacher teaching, the students listened attentively. Li Fan didn't expect that these students could be so interested in learning. Even a few students who usually sleep in class are now staring at the teacher with full attention. The power of a beauty is extraordinary. If every woman in this world is a beauty, perhaps the world will be more harmonious. The human gene is still not perfect. I hope that one day, everyone is handsome and beautiful. How harmonious that would be. Li Fan didn't pay attention to the class. His mind is in a mess. At this time, the new teacher noticed him and suddenly asked, Student, what's your name? Li Fan has already thought about what to eat tonight. When Liao Wushuang called him, he didn't answer. Everyone's eyes are focused on Li Fan. The boys are a bit jealous. The new teacher actually paid attention to Li Fan. This is too unfair. Student. The bespectacled boy quickly nudged Li Fan with his elbow. Only then did Li Fan wake up. Teacher, you called me? Li Fan said, is this new teacher going to ask me a question? What did she just say? Student. That, why are you squatting over there? Why aren't you sitting down? Liao Wushuang seems to be a natural daze. She innocently asked, Student, do you have hemorrhoids or something? A black line appeared on Li Fan's head. The nearby students are muttering. Aya, damn, how did the teacher know? Teacher Liao is a fortune teller. Does the world know that Li Fan has hemorrhoids? Fuck. Who has hemorrhoids? When Li Fan wanted to explain, the class just ended. For the first time, Li Fan felt that the bell is so ear-piercing. Teacher Liao has already walked out of the classroom with her books and glasses. Fuck, no, I have to go up and explain. Li Fan hated being misunderstood the most. He immediately chased after her, wanting to explain to Liao Wushuang. Unexpectedly, when he went out, he found out that Wang Qiong is already there. At this time, Wang Qiong is standing in the corridor, blocking Liao Wushuang's way. Teacher Liao, can we talk? Student, is there something you don't understand? Liao Wushuang thought that Wang Qiong had encountered difficulties in learning English, so she kindly asked. Yes, I have a very difficult problem that I can't figure out. Teacher Liao, please teach me well. Of course. If there's anything you don't know, just ask me. Teacher, of Wang, there are too many people here and it is inconvenient to study. Teacher, there are too many people here. It's not convenient to study. Why don't we find a quiet place? Is the office okay? There are other teachers in the office. It is inconvenient. Wang Qiong smiled, stretched out his hand and grabbed Liao Wushuang's wrist. I booked a suite in a 5-star hotel. It is very secluded and the environment is good. It will guarantee a better learning efficiency. This, student. This is not possible. Liao Wushuang tried to get rid of Wang Qiong's entanglement, but Wang Qiong brought 2 strong brothers and surrounded Liao Wushuang. She can't leave for a while. Teacher Liao, you just came to this school. You might not know the rules of this school. Wang Qiong smiled. Teacher Liao, us teachers and students can study it in depth. At this moment, Li Fan walked over from behind and kicked Wang Qiong's butt, causing Wang Qiong to lie on the wall. Fuck, why are you always blocking the way? Li Fan put one hand in his pocket and the other hand dug his ear. He looked at Wang Qiong and scolded, Did you change your name to Toyota Prado? Yes, it's my fault. Wang Qiong wanted to get angry, but seeing that it was Li Fan, he obediently held back his temper and obediently moved to the side. The 2 followers also quickly moved away. No one dared to provoke Li Fan, this god of plague. There were so many people in the school, but none of them could beat Li Fan. Who do they think they are? Liao Wushuang took the opportunity to leave. Her footsteps were somewhat hurried as if she was afraid. Be good. Remember not to block the way next time. Li Fan patted Wang Qiong's shoulder. Wang Qiong still had to smile apologetically. Brother Li, how about I treat you to a French feast tonight? Not interested. Li Fan rolled his eyes. You're a Chinese man, why do you eat a French feast every day? If you have nothing to do, just eat mala tang. With that, Li Fan no longer paid attention to this pervert and turned around to leave. Student, this student. Just as Li Fan turned a corner, Liao Wushuang chased after him and called out to Li Fan. Teacher Liao, what's the matter? Li Fan is somewhat baffled. Why is this beautiful new teacher looking for me? That. Thank you for helping me out. Liao Wushuang is indeed somewhat shy. When she speaks to Li Fan, her voice is very weak. You're welcome. Just be careful in the future. Li Fan did not take it seriously. Helping Liao Wushuang is just something he did out of convenience. He suddenly thought of something and slapped himself on the forehead. Oh yeah, Teacher Liao, I forgot to tell you. I don't have hemorrhoids. Ah. Hearing Li Fan said that, Liao Wushuang comforted him, it's okay. A lot of guys are embarrassed to admit it. After all, I'm older than you and have seen a lot. You don't have to be ashamed in front of a teacher. Seen your sister. Have you seen hemorrhoids on a man's butt? Besides, I don't have hemorrhoids. Teacher, I really don't have hemorrhoids. Li Fan wanted to explain, but Liao Wushuang stretched out a finger and pressed it on Li Fan's mouth. You don't need to say anything. Teacher understands. Teacher will not dislike you. You will always be teacher's obedient student. Obedient your head. What kind of teacher is this? Can't you let me finish my words? Student, your name is Li Fan, right? Liao Wushuang glanced at the attendance list. I see that your English is okay. If you need to improve it, you can contact me. I opened a remedial class. You should come and tutor me. I guarantee that after a month, your English will be able to improve to 130 points. That good? Li Fan was a bit surprised. This woman is too confident. Even Lin Yuhin would not dare to say this. Of course. After all, English is my strength. At this time, Liao Wushuang's face finally showed some confidence. Today you helped me. I can give you a 50% discount for my remedial class. Li Fan wanted to cry but no tears came out. He is now extremely poor. Where would he find the money for remedial class? Let's talk about it another day, Teacher Liao. I'm leaving first, bye-bye. But Li Fan did not know that Wang Qiong is hiding in the corner, secretly watching them. His eyes were red with hatred. Chapter 124. Too much. This is too much. Wang Qiong sat in the KTV, angrily drinking a large mouthful of red wine. Beside him, two beauties were leaning on his embrace and acting coquettishly. Young Master Wang, don't be angry. Come, I'll accompany you to drink. The beauty on the left kept sending wine into Wang Qiong's mouth, but was pushed away by Wang Qiong. Scram, don't annoy me. Wang Qiong kicked the woman away. The woman lowered her head, not daring to make a sound. After all, everyone here knew that Wang Qiong was not to be trifled with. Not to mention kicking, sometimes these people would slap him in the face in anger, but they could only endure it. Some women could not bear to do so, but those women were destined to not earn money here. The first lesson their mother had taught them was how to endure. Only by enduring could one earn money. As Wang Qiong lost his temper, a noble young master sat beside him. He was dressed in an elegant French famous brand, and his right hand was playing with a string of Vajra body. Wang Qiong, why are you in such a bad mood today? It's rare for me to bring you to a good place. The noble young master asked as he hugged a beautiful girl and enjoyed her kiss. This is too much of a bully, really. Wang Qiong complained, Young Master Yang, you don't know. I'm being bullied to the point that I can't stay here anymore. Oh. Our young Master Wang is quite famous in a city. His family background is so strong, and he's also my friend. Who would dare to bully you? Speaking of which, it's depressing. Wang Qiong said angrily, I don't know where this Li Fan came from in our school, but his martial arts are amazing. I found a few people, but they were all taken care of by him. Now, he has become my school's new little overlord. He even cares if I pick up a girl, and he even beats and kicks me whenever he wants. Don't you think he's bullying people? He's just a brute, don't worry about it. Young Master Yang laughed, let my family send 2 experts to help you deal with him, isn't that enough? Tell me, do you want one of his hands or one of his legs? Young Master Yang. This kid does have some skills. Wang Qiong quickly said, last time, I hired a professional fighter, but it was useless. Hired a fighter? No, it's not elegant at all. Young Master Yang chuckled. There are 100 elegant ways to deal with such people. Is young Master Yang willing to avenge me? Wang Qiong immediately became happy. If that's the case, then that's great. In a city, young Master Yang can't mess with anyone he wants. That's too much. You're making me sound like a local tyrant. As young Master Yang spoke, he poured a glass of red wine onto the chest of the girl beside him. The wine drenched her shirt and revealed her purple underwear. Under young Master Yang's signal, another girl rode on top of her and then licked the wine off her chest with her tongue. Seeing the 2 girls' wild actions, young Master Yang was very satisfied. It was as if he was watching a movie as he watched the two girls licking him. Tomorrow, I promise to make that Li Fan disappear from your campus. Then I thank young Master Yang in advance. Here's to you. Wang Qiong raised his wine cup and sighed with emotion. After I settle this brat, I can chase after the new director of our school. This woman is really beautiful. She can be considered the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. To be able to have sex with her once, it's worth it to lose 10 years of my life. Look at you, we're all out to play. What kind of beautiful woman haven't we seen before? Young Master Yang chuckled. For example, my fiancée. Even if she's a little beautiful, so what? Which woman around me isn't beautiful? These women are spoiled. Young Master Yang. You haven't seen that woman. Really, I've played with a lot of women over the years, but this is the first time I've seen this kind of. That kind of strength, it's indescribable. Sooner or later, you'll die on a woman. Young Master Yang mocked. Alright, I guarantee that you'll get the beauty back. Then I'll borrow young Master Yang's auspicious words. Now that Wang Qiong had a backer, he was overjoyed. He was just waiting for Li Fan to be killed by him. At this time, Li Fan was accompanying Lin Yuhin to go shopping. Although it was said to be going shopping, it was actually just accompanying Lin Yuhin to buy a cake. What does Auntie like? As her prospective son-in-law, shouldn't I give her something? Li Fan followed behind Lin Yuhin and pretended to ask. Oh, sure. Lin Yuhin was in the cake shop looking at the dazzling array of cakes in the cupboard. Hearing what Li Fan said, she didn't even raise her head and said, "My mom likes money, so just give her money." For a moment, Li Fan didn't know how to continue the conversation. This was too direct. I know. Auntie is a bit of a gold digger. Let me correct you. That's not called a little, that's called very good. Lin Yuhin didn't hide this point. I especially admire my mom for being such a gold digger. Especially these 2 years, she's been telling me to marry a rich tycoon every day. My ears are about to grow calluses. Ah. Then how can a poor dwarf like me enter Auntie's eyes? It's good that you know your place. Lin Yuhin said as she took out a small notebook and recorded the new points. Because you're not confident enough, deduct 2 points. Fuck. Li Fan hurriedly said, how am I not confident enough? I wake up every morning because of my own handsomeness, okay? Excessive narcissism, deduct another 2 points. Fuck you, don't you have any bonus points? Li Fan was about to collapse. How could he continue? I can have bonus points. Lin Yuhin chose a 6-inch big cake and took out a few brand new 100 yuan from her pocket. Let's see your performance. I suddenly feel that you're very rich. I just got my tuition fee today. Lin Yuhin was a little proud. It's that junior high school student. His father also likes me and said that I'm very outstanding, which improved his son's results. Our family's teacher Lin's level needs no praise. Li Fan hurriedly flattered, not to mention our private second high school, in the entire city, how many have better results than you? In this joint examination, I reckon you're going to get first place again. Every time I think that such an outstanding girl is actually my girlfriend, I'm so happy that I can wake up in my sleep. Your sweet talk is not bad. I'll give you 1 point. Lin Yuhin added another stroke in her notebook. Li Fan made a bitter face. I've talked until my mouth is dry, and only 1 point. What, you think it's too much? No, I'll continue to work hard. Li Fan hurriedly said. Well, that's right. You're becoming more and more like a boyfriend. Lin Yuhin nodded her head in satisfaction, but your outfit is too outrageous. Let's go, we have a lot of time. I'll take you to buy clothes. Chapter 125. Don't mess around, I'm not living off a woman. Li Fan was immediately unhappy. How can I let you buy me clothes? You're my boyfriend, I have the responsibility to make you look more handsome. Lin Yuhin said, don't worry, the employer gave me a 200 yuan bonus. This 200 yuan is originally for your image design fee, it's not much, don't be a male chauvinist. If you're a male chauvinist, I'll deduct points for you. Carrying the cake for Lin Yuhin, Li Fan was still not comfortable, muttering, that's not comfortable either. I have hands and feet, why should I let you pay for me? See, you're a male chauvinist. Lin Yuhin stretched out her hand and poked Li Fan's forehead. Then do you have money? If you have money, spend it yourself. I'm planning to bring you back to see my mother today. Huh? Li Fan was stunned for a moment. You're not kidding, right? Aren't you looking for trouble? I've already thought about it. Lin Yuhin said very seriously. We're being sneaky. It's not going to work sooner or later. I'll let you meet my mother. Try to leave a good impression on her. Okay, I'll definitely perform well, Li Fan said. Since Lin Yuhin had already decided, he could only raise both his hands to support her. I'll definitely show my spirit and make Auntie think that I'm an excellent student. No, you can't say that you're a student. Lin Yuhin suddenly stopped Li Fan. You have to say that you're a university student. Moreover, your family has a lot of assets. Huh? Li Fan was stunned for a moment. It was obvious that Lin Yuhin's words had exceeded his expectations. Rich second generation? Yes, in short, that's it. Lin Yuhin nodded. This can't be helped. You have to let your mother accept you first. But this is a lie. Li Fan felt that something was not quite right. Aya, it's just a delaying tactic. Lin Yuhin rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Do you think I want that? The neighbors have already found out that you came to pick me up and send me home. If you don't reveal your identity, it will be difficult for us to be together again. This is how difficult it is to move from the underground to the surface. Li Fan sighed deeply. But I don't want to lie. What should I do? Did you forget? Don't you have a billiard hall? Lin Yuhin had already made up her mind, so she immediately said, just say that you have a family business. The business brand is the sports category. Damn, this is the first time I've seen you talk nonsense like this. Li Fan almost knelt down. It can't be helped. If you help me this time, I'll give you 10 points. What do you think? Lin Yuhin began to tempt Li Fan. Okay. But I'll pay for the clothes myself. Recently, the billiard hall had some income. The billiard league was doing well, and the business was booming. He took out 500 yuan from his pocket. This was what he took from the billiard hall, and he planned to use it as a month's allowance. Okay, you can pay for it yourself. Let's go, I'll bring you to buy some nice clothes. With that, Lin Yuhin grabbed Li Fan's sleeve and led him out of the cake shop. Li Fan originally thought that she was going to bring him to some fancy place, but he didn't expect that she would bring him to a night market and start shopping. The night market was very lively. Every night, there were many vendors who came out to set up their stalls. They were all selling cheap goods. Buy here. Nonsense. What else can I buy with such a small amount of money? Lin Yuhin said matter-of-factly, we still have to live, okay? If we don't save up, we'll starve. Thinking of her father, who was still spending money like water in the hospital, and thinking of his own poor life, Li Fan didn't say anything. Boss, how much is this coat? Lin Yuhin's eyes lit up when she saw a dark brown coat in a stall. 600, no bargaining. The boss said casually as he picked at his toes. Boss, your coat is not authentic, and you're selling it for 600? Are you kidding me? Lin Yuhin couldn't help but roll her eyes. Little girl, don't talk nonsense if you don't know. This is a brand, do you know Armani? Fuck. Li Fan couldn't help but complain. I've only heard of Armani. This is the first time I've heard of Armani. Young man, what are you yelling about? This is a brother brand of Armani. The boss continued to pick at his toes and said casually, it's very popular in France. Boss, you're selling an imitation at such a high price. Will anyone buy it? Lin Yuhin raised a finger. 100. I'll take it away immediately. Stop it, little girl. The boss pursed his lips. 100. This coat is made of good material. I can't even get the goods, okay? Including the shirt and trousers, it's 250. I can't go any higher. Lin Yuhin didn't care about what the boss said. She pointed at the two coats and said in one go, little girl, you can't get down. Oh, forget it. Li Fan, let's go. Lin Yuhin pulled Li Fan and turned to leave. Little girl, don't go. We can negotiate. 220. Lin Yuhin turned around and raised two fingers. Fuck, why is it getting lower? Little girl, you're too ruthless. Li Fan, let's go. Fine, fine, fine. 220 for you. Li Fan was stunned. Fuck, she really cut it off. The boss said to him as he took the coat, "Young man, your girlfriend is amazing. Yeah. I don't even dare to speak loudly." Li Fan laughed dryly as Lin Yuhin pinched him. "The coat is almost done. I'll help you choose a pair of shoes." Lin Yuhin spent another 200 to help Li Fan choose a good pair of shoes. This set of shoes cost a total of 420. After Li Fan changed into the shoes, Lin Yuhin wrapped the uniform around him. The coat can be a little worse, but the leather shoes must be of high quality. My mom has a sharp eye. She can tell at a glance if you're wearing a bad quality shoe. Listening to Lin Yuhin's words, Li Fan muttered in his heart. 200 yuan shoes are of high quality, but Lin Yuhin's mother probably didn't see anything good, so it should be easy to deal with. What are you doing? Helping you with your hair, Lin Yuhin said as she took out a comb and scissors from her bag. Fuck. Are you going to cut my hair yourself? Of course. Won't it look like a dog gnawing on it? Fuck you. My skills are quite good. I usually cut my hair at home and save a lot of money. Be honest and don't move your head around. Be careful or it will really look like a dog gnawing on it. In the corner of the night market, Lin Yuhin faced the streetlight and cut Li Fan's hair. 10 minutes later, Lin Yuhin finally put away the scissors. It's done. Lin Yuhin put down the scissors, patted Li Fan's hair, and then tore off his uniform. Two girls with heavy makeup passed by, and one of them with big breasts winked at Li Fan. Do you want to play, handsome? Chapter 126. What nonsense are you flirting with? He's mine. Lin Yuhin immediately glared at them fiercely like a mother hen protecting her chick. So stingy. What a pity for a handsome young man. The two women rolled their eyes and turned to leave. Randomly flirting with other women, deduct 2 points. Lin Yuhin was jealous and was about to deduct points for Li Fan, but Li Fan hurriedly pulled her back. What the fuck, my Miss Lin, I didn't do anything. Li Fan shouted that he was wronged. This had nothing to do with him. Humph. I'll let you off this time. Lin Yuhin reminded Li Fan, in the future, if you meet this kind of shady woman, you must reject them righteously, understand? Don't hesitate, don't delay. Yes, I understand. Li Fan was helpless. Women are unreasonable. Then perform well. If you perform well tonight, you will get a lot of points. Don't you think your words are particularly ambiguous? Go to hell. If you talk nonsense again, I'll deduct points. I was wrong. Li Fan bowed his head and admitted his mistake. Ari, it really feels like someone is pinching his soft spot. This wretched little book, this wretched point system, really too hateful. Now like this, at least you pass. Lin Yuhin circled around Li Fan twice, and then nodded with satisfaction. You can be considered to be a dog. Damn, you're a good student. Why are your words so harsh? Li Fan was depressed to death. How can there be such a bad boyfriend? I look so spirited. How can you say that I'm a dog? After dressing up, Li Fan is indeed spirited, somewhat has the demeanor of a rich family's disciple. Moreover, Lin Yuhin's skills were not bad. She combed Li Fan's hair neatly and energetically. It was the complete opposite of his messy hair from before. I came to visit like this. Are you sure it's a surprise for Auntie's birthday and not a shock? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. You're such a busybody. Lin Yuhin couldn't help but roll her eyes. I told you, as long as you say you're a rich second generation, my mom will definitely welcome you. Forget it. How can there be such a mother? Li Fan didn't quite believe it, but half an hour later, he did. Come in, come in. The room is small, sorry for the inconvenience. When they arrived at the tube-shaped apartment, Yuan Chunli enthusiastically invited Li Fan inside. Not knowing what Lin Yuhin told Yuan Chunli in advance, now Yuan Chunli looked at Li Fan's eyes as if she couldn't wait to eat him. She invited Li Fan into the house. What was different from before was that this small house was especially clean today, and it was almost spotless. Li Fan felt as if he was the VIP of this family. Yuan Chunli's enthusiasm made him slightly unable to bear. Auntie, I'm really sorry. I came in a hurry and didn't prepare any gift for you. Li Fan respectfully greeted Yuan Chuanli according to the script he had written in advance. How could I? I'm already very happy that you can come. Yuan Chuanli smilingly looked at Li Fan. But why do I think you look a little familiar? Ah, because he appeared on TV several times. You may have seen him on TV. Lin Yuhin quickly explained. So that's how it is. It seems that your family's sports brand is doing well, right? Auntie has seen the results. They are all small brands, incomparable to Nike, Adidas, and so on. Li Fan had already deviated from the script and began to talk nonsense. Nowadays it's very difficult to make a domestic brand. My father wants me to study management, and after a few years, I'll go abroad to further my studies and see how foreigners do brands. Lin Yuhin repeatedly glared at Li Fan from behind, meaning not to talk too much. The more he talked, the easier it was to be exposed. Mom, don't ask too much. He doesn't like people asking about these things. Lin Yuhin could only control her mother's side. Yuan Chuanli quickly nodded. Aya, I'm old, and my mouth is too loose. Okay, I won't say any more. By the way, Xiao Fan, how did you meet our family's moon immortal? Mom. Lin Yuhin was about to collapse. How could she ignore her own mother's gossipy heart? He tutored my brother, and that's how we got to know each other. Li Fan suddenly said with some sadness, but Moon Immortal and I started off as friends, and I hope to have my own business one day. My family is very strict with me, and they want me to marry a girl of equal status after I graduate from university. Auntie, you tell me, isn't that old-fashioned? Yes. Old-fashioned. Yuan Chuanli fiercely nodded and said, what era is this? How can they be so old-fashioned? Don't worry, Auntie is very open-minded. As long as you two are good friends, Auntie will not object. Yuan Chuanli couldn't be happier. Her biggest wish in this life was for her daughter to marry into a rich family. She could bear hardships, and she could be tired, but her daughter must live a good life. Thank you, Auntie. I will definitely take good care of Moon Immortal. Li Fan said very sincerely, but for the time being, I still want to focus on my own business. I'm currently independent from my family, and I have to rely on myself for everything. Recently, the sports industry that I've invested in has some small success. Next year, I plan to expand the scale and open 2 more branches. To have such achievements at such a young age, you're really young and promising. Yuan Chuanli asked again, Xiaofan, where is your shop? Lin Yuhin was a little nervous. She felt that she had miscalculated one thing, and that was miscalculating a mother's curiosity. This question, they didn't go through the booklet beforehand. Could it be that Li Fan had leaked it? Currently, it's still a small shop, at Linjiang Road. Li Fan's answer was very neat. Because Linjiang Road sold sports equipment, there were many shops. Then how much can you earn in a month? Yuan Chuanli casually asked as she poured tea for Li Fan. This question. She actually came. Li Fan and Lin Yuhin had indeed considered whether Yuan Chuanli would ask this question. But they didn't expect her to be so direct. Just like how Lin Yuhin commented on her own mother, this middle-aged woman was indeed a bit materialistic. The pressure of life had forcefully changed Yuan Chuanli's worldview. About 100,000 a month. Li Fan didn't dare to say too much, but he didn't dare to say too little either. This was 10 times the monthly income of the billiard hall when it was at its peak. It's just a little bit of money. I'm sorry to make you laugh at me. No, it's already a lot. Yuan Chuanli thought to herself, this young man is really humble. Auntie, I don't know what to give you for your birthday. Li Fan was still addicted to acting and casually said, I'm preparing to send you on a trip. Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, you can choose. Lin Yuhin's eyes widened. Chapter 127. Aya, how can I accept this? Yuan Chuanli's eyes were smiling. How can I accept your things? It's your birthday, you're the boss. Li Fan laughed. Tell me where to go, or we can all go, I'll pay for all the expenses. You see, it's not easy for you to be exposed to the sun and wind every day, it's time for you to relax. All right then, I won't be unreasonable then. Li Fan did not expect Yuan Chuanli to really agree. Xiao Fan, give me a date, I'll just rest for 2 days, but not too long, just a week will do. If it's too long, the family's business will be neglected. Li Fan was dumbfounded. What the heck, she really agreed. What to do now? To go to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, how much money would that cost? No. I have to think of a way to smooth things over. Auntie, if Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand is too far, we can change to a closer place. Beijing or Shanghai is fine too. No problem, it's not too far. Yuan Chuanli said with a smile, I'll let old Li next door look after the stall for 2 days, we'll split the earnings, he's more than happy to do so. As long as Auntie is happy. Li Fan was about to break down, Lin Yuhin kept rolling her eyes, and Yuan Chuanli had already started to ponder. Aya, is it hot in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand? What should I wear? Looking at Lin Yuhin's eyes, it was obvious that she was saying, let's see how you clean up this mess. Clean up my ass. Tears are already flowing all over the floor. But now he could only swallow the bitterness. Li Fan still had to act out the script. Xiao Fan, drink some wine. Yuan Chuanli specially bought a small dining table, and placed the dishes she made herself on it. She also took out a bottle of wine from the cabinet. Looking at it, Lin Yuhin was a little surprised. This was a bottle of Marotai left by his father. His mother could not bear to drink it. She actually took it out today. It was too unbelievable. Auntie, I'm not good at drinking. What a good boy. Auntie likes people who don't drink. However, today is a special day. Let's drink 2 cups. Auntie will drink with you. As Yuan Chuanli spoke, she even personally poured wine for Li Fan. Li Fan was so frightened that he hurriedly took the wine bottle and filled it up for himself before filling it up for Yuan Chuanli. He was so nervous that he ignored the look that Lin Yuhin was giving him. Yuan Chuanli also seemed to be very happy. She exchanged toasts with Li Fan and drank several cups in a short while. This kind of Marotai wine, which had been stored for a long time, was very strong. Even if Li Fan had practiced martial arts, he couldn't help but feel a little drunk at this time. The wine rushed to the top of his head. Xiao Fan, come. Let's drink this cup. Yuan Chuanli raised her wine glass and clinked it with Li Fan's. When I'm at Auntie's house, it's like I'm at home. I like rich young men like you. I'm happy that you and the Moon Immortal are together. Auntie. You, don't worry. I'll definitely treat the Moon Immortal well in the future. Li Fan also drank too much. His words began to be out of tune. I promise. Promise to serve her like how I serve Mom. Serve your sister. You drank too much. You're not allowed to drink anymore. Lin Yuhin pulled Li Fan's hand. What are you doing? Yuan Chuanli was the first to panic. She glared at her daughter. How can you talk to your future husband like that? When adults drink, don't interrupt. Go do your homework. Lin Yuhin almost cried. Why should I do my homework? The 2 of you are going to heaven. Brother. Sister is telling you. Women are, you can't just dote on them. You have to manage them. Big sister, whatever you say is true. I'll go first. Li Fan drank another big mouthful. The alcohol rushed to his head like a tide. Brother. Sister is telling you. Our family's Moon Immortal is suffering. Yuan Chuanli started to cry as she spoke. Her nose was dripping with tears and snot. Not long after she was born. Her father got schizophrenia. Now he's still in the hospital. He's a bottomless pit. Both of us have had enough of this kind of bitter life. Big sister. You, don't worry. In the future, I'll take care of her. Li Fan's words almost made Lin Yuhin cry. It's already hard enough. This fellow is still trying to provoke me. Really, why did the 2 of them have to drink for no reason? They don't even have a high tolerance for alcohol. They're already this drunk. Finally, looking at the 2 of them collapsed on the table, Lin Yuhin wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. She helped Yuan Chuanli to the bed before walking over and pushing Li Fan. Big sister. Don't mess around, Li Fan mumbled. Go to hell. Who's your big sister? Lin Yuhin rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Ah. Not big sister. Isn't this my wife? Li Fan chuckled and pulled Lin Yuhin into his arms. Come, let hubby kiss you. With that, he really kissed Lin Yuhin's little mouth. Lin Yuhin was stunned. She instinctively wanted to push Li Fan away, but Murong Ying's words suddenly floated in her mind. Have you ever kissed before, Humph? Why haven't I kissed before? Didn't I kiss her during CPR? Lin Yuhin thought of this and accepted Li Fan's kiss in a fit of pique. Li Fan's lips were soft. But it would be better if they didn't smell like alcohol. Just as Lin Yuhin was about to carefully savor this first kiss, Li Fan's hand suddenly moved behind Lin Yuhin. Lin Yuhin was so shocked that she trembled and directly bit Li Fan's lips. Ah! Li Fan woke up with a start. The bite was quite painful and his lips were bleeding. Wife, are you a dog? Who's your wife? Wake up. Li Fan blinked his eyes and saw that the person sitting in front of him was none other than his little enemy, Lin Yuhin. Damn! Why is it you, you bastard? You want to deny it after kissing me? Lin Yuhin's eyes immediately turned red. Li Fan hurriedly raised his hands to surrender. Ancestor, I drank too much. Don't cry, I'll make amends. This is my first kiss. How are you going to compensate me? Big deal, I'll devote my life to you. Li Fan's self-sacrificing look made Lin Yuhin angry. It's as if you've suffered a big loss. Shameless. Yes. It's all my fault. Eldest miss, please don't be angry. Li Fan felt bitter in his heart. This matter was caused by him. He was drunk and had forgotten what it felt like to kiss her. It was a wasted kiss. Humph, let's not talk about this first. Think about how you're going to send my mother to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Lin Yuhin rolled her eyes. Someone said that he'll cover all the expenses. Since he said it, I'll do it. Li Fan also became determined. At most, young master will sell his kidney. Chapter 128. Li Fan's words were quite righteous, but selling his kidney. How is that possible? I am still a virgin. If I sell my kidney, wouldn't it be ruined? I am not an apple boy. There is no need for me to give up my lower half of my body. Therefore, when he appeared on the gambling boat, Su Chen was about to cry. My lord, why are you here again? Boss Su. I want to join an underground boxing match. Li Fan said with some embarrassment. My lord, you are my lord. Su Chen collapsed on the spot. The cigar in his hand fell to his feet. If you join an underground boxing match again, I can directly close this place. But I need a sum of money. Li Fan said very frankly, I thought about it. It seems that I can only rely on underground boxing matches to earn some quick money. Ancestor, you are asking for my life. My life is not easy right now. How much money do you need? Not much, just 50,000 to 80,000. Li Fan looked on the internet. The most luxurious tour in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand is about this price. When the time comes, he will directly spend money to book a group and let Yuan Chuanli have a good time. A penny stumps a hero. You have to understand me, Boss Su. I understand your sister. Why don't you understand me? Su Chen cursed in his heart. Why didn't you think about this when you burned that 80,000? Brother Li, about the 50,000 to 80,000, you can just say it. Yu Feng, go get the money for my brother. Su Chen ordered, but Li Fan stopped Yu Feng. No, Boss Su, I can't take your money for free. Brother. I know you want to be strong, but you also have to think for your brother. Su Chen suddenly rolled his eyes. Why don't you see me come up with a way to neutralize it? What way? Although I can't help you, I know a god of fortune who can definitely help you. What kind of help? 2 days and 2 nights as a bodyguard. Su Chen raised 3 fingers. The total remuneration is 60,000 yuan, according to the price given by the stunt bodyguard. If you agree, I won't look for anyone else. I'll leave this matter to you. How about it? 2 days and 2 nights. Which days? Usually, it wouldn't work. Li Fan had to attend classes. We leave on Friday night and return on Monday morning. Su Chen looked at the timetable in Yu Feng's hand. Is it okay? No problem. Li Fan was still a little excited. I earned 60,000 in 2 days. Help me find more work. Ayo, it's all thanks to you. How could there be such a good thing in the past? Su Chen quickly said, Brother, since you have agreed, please sign this contract. He took a contract from Yu Feng and handed it to Li Fan. Thank you, Boss Su. Li Fan was still a little drunk. He didn't read the contract carefully and happily signed it. Then Friday night at 7 p.m., I'll go to the billiard hall to pick you up. Su Chen smiled and carefully kept the contract. Brother, don't be late and don't regret it. Otherwise, you'll have to pay double the penalty. I won't. I really need this job. Li Fan said, only a fool would not be willing. Then see you at that time. Oh right, brother, do you want to play on my boat? I have a new girl here. Guaranteed to be fun. I don't want it. Hee hee. Li Fan thought to himself, why is Su Chen the same as Lei Zi, always wanting to find me for a prostitute? I'm a righteous and friendly young man. How could I do that kind of thing? Li Fan didn't dare to stay on this gambling boat for long. He went back home to sleep that night. Murong Ying said, stay away from trouble. The next few days were calm. Lin Yuhin told Li Fan that ever since he agreed to this matter, Yuan Chunli has been thinking about what to wear to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand almost every day. Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand are very hot. You can even go bare-chested. Li Fan said. Screw you. Lin Yuhin gave Li Fan a hard look. You're the same as that hooligan behind, not serious at all. At this time, Lin Yuhin stood at the entrance of Li Fan's billiard hall and said, pointing inside. Big sister, what do you mean by that? Hearing this, Huang Lei immediately couldn't sit still. He patted his chest and said, I, Huang Lei, am the most serious person. When I was a child, I always got full marks in moral lessons. I almost joined the party. Come on. You want to join the party? What party? Pornographic party. Li Fan couldn't help but ridicule. Huang Lei felt very wronged. Big brother, how can you not trust me? My heart hurts. Pain my ass. Li Fan pointed at Huang Lei. Lin Yuhin, how are we alike? Moral is bullshit, but I was a good student in primary school. You get lost too. None of you are good. Lin Yuhin curled her lips. It's better to believe in ghosts than to believe in you. Let's see what you'll do if you can't do it. You only have 7 points now. If my mom hates you, deduct all of them. That's not right. Li Fan immediately said, didn't you say that you would get 10 points for accompanying your mom? You're already drunk. It's good enough that you're not deducted points. You're not allowed to drink with my mom in the future. Lin Yuhin looked at her watch. It's time for supplementary lessons. I'm not going to chat with you anymore. Are you really not going to send me off today? I have something important to do today. Li Fan became serious. I won't accompany you. Don't miss me too much. Only a ghost would miss you, narcissist. Lin Yuhin rode on her bicycle. I'm annoyed when I see you. It's better if we never meet again, bastard. With that, she rode away. Li Fan looked at her back view and admired her long legs. Sigh, what a rare view. Big brother, this girl's legs are really long. Huang Lei walked to Li Fan's side and muttered. Fuck off, what nonsense are you thinking about all day long? You're too dirty. Li Fan fiercely stared at Huang Lei. Why can't you learn from me? You must have a pure heart, understand? Then big brother, what are you looking at? And drooling. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm fucking looking at the board. Oh. This board's legs are so long. Get lost. Li Fan kicked Huang Lei back to the billiard hall. This guy is too frivolous. He should really learn from me. What is called a clear mind? He looked down at his watch. It's almost time. Su Chen should be here by now, right? As the saying goes, don't talk about people in the day and don't talk about ghosts at night. Just as Li Fan was thinking about Su Chen, a black Mercedes-Benz slowly stopped in front of the billiard hall. Mr. Li, please get in. Yu Feng opened the door and respectfully invited Li Fan to get in. Okay. Li Fan instructed Huang Lei to take good care of the shop and not neglect his martial arts before getting in the Mercedes-Benz. Yu Feng sat inside and handed a black suit to Li Fan. Mr. Li, please change into this suit. Chapter 129. This guy is quite formal. Li Fan took the suit and looked at it. The grade of the suit was quite high. It seemed to be some brand, but he did not know much about it. But he found out that Lin Yuhin was quite proficient in brands, even though she never wore those branded clothes. From this moment on, Mr. Li will have to fulfill the contract. Looking at Li Fan changing into the black suit, Yu Feng became more serious, as if the whole world owed him money. Mr. Li must stay by the employer's side for a full 48 hours without rest, to protect the employer's safety. Other than the bodyguards, no one is allowed to get within 2 meters of the employer. Once someone gets close, he must be subdued. At the critical moment, he must have the awareness to block bullets for the employer. Damn, is this protecting the president of the country? Why is there such a big show? Li Fan could not help but ask. Mr. Li, this 60,000 yuan is not as easy to earn as you think. When Yu Feng said this, he was somewhat jealous. No matter what, he was an expert in all kinds of things, a well-known international bodyguard. But he was not qualified to take on this task. His monthly salary was only 30,000 yuan. Perhaps the only advantage was that it was not that dangerous to follow by Boss Su's side. All right, since I have accepted this task, I will definitely do it well. Li Fan nodded, leave it to me. He had already changed into the black suit, with a black shirt inside. Li Fan felt that he was not like a bodyguard, but more like a gangster in Japan or Korea. This is the intercom device. Yu Feng handed a walkie-talkie and headset to Li Fan. The channel has been adjusted, don't mess with it. Got it. Everything was so formal. With Yu Feng's help, Li Fan finally hung up the walkie-talkie and put on the headset. He looked at his own reflection on the phone. He really looked like a bodyguard now. Remember, you must put the employer first. The employer's life is the most important. Yu Feng warned him again and again, if the employer is injured or, unfortunately, passes away, then not only will you have to pay double the liquidated damages, but you are also likely to offend all the big shots in City A. From then on, you won't be able to live in City A anymore. How serious? Li Fan's heart began to beat like a drum. Who were they protecting? It was like a war. Yu Feng continued to teach him some bodyguard experience. The car had unknowingly left the city and soon arrived at the suburban airport. Li Fan had never been on a plane. He had only seen it on TV. The airport was very big, and all the passengers entered from the terminal hall. Their car drove directly into a VIP entrance on the side and soon entered a large parking apron. There were scattered small planes in the airport. Although Li Fan had never eaten pork, he had seen pigs run. These small planes in the airport should be private planes. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to think about it. Didn't Zhao Benshan buy a private jet in the past? It attracted a group of people who hated the rich. Without a certain amount of financial resources, who could afford this thing? After all, you not only bought a plane, but also a series of expenses such as maintenance fees, downtime fees, and the wages of the captain and stewardess. He didn't know if Murong Ying's family had a private plane. The Murong Consortium was a big business, so it should have a private plane. The black Mercedes-Benz stopped next to the small plane. Yu Feng opened the door and let Li Fan get out. Is everyone here? There were already 5 tall bodyguards standing in front of him. Each of them looked like a weapon in the world. Li Fan had the feeling that he was on the basketball team, because these guys were almost 2 meters tall, and their bodies were full of muscles, with a murderous aura around them. One of the bald men glanced at Li Fan through his sunglasses and said coldly, "Is this the person recommended by Mr. Su?" The other bodyguards obviously sneered. No wonder they looked down on Li Fan. After all, compared to them, Li Fan was like a dwarf. His figure was thin and weak, and he looked extremely weak. This is the master invited by Mr. Su. Please work together as a bodyguard. Several bodyguards in front of him were international bodyguards. Yu Feng did not dare to act rashly in front of them. He said respectfully, "The safety of the employer is in your hands. Don't worry, I, Qi Ziping, have been a bodyguard for 20 years, and I have never failed." The bald man spoke with a strong sense of pride. Li Fan could see that this man definitely had some skills, otherwise Yu Feng would not be so polite to him. Qi Ziping, an internationally famous bodyguard, known as the Safe. Li Fan used his mobile phone to check the information of this man and found that he could really find it. Top 10 international bodyguards, belonging to the largest security umbrella company. Umbrella company? Li Fan was about to check again when Qi Ziping suddenly shouted. What are you doing? Checking information, what's wrong? Li Fan was somewhat puzzled. Qi Ziping angrily said, the bodyguard's duty is to protect the employer. How can you play with your mobile phone during working hours? Are you a professional or not? The employer hasn't come yet, okay? Li Fan felt that this man might be a little crazy. Who are you protecting now? Presumptuous. I am your captain. You must listen to my orders. Qi Ziping said bluntly, if you disobey my orders, get out of the team. Mr. Li. From now on, don't play with your mobile phone. Yu Feng was about to cry in his heart. Sure enough, he was an ancestor. Boss Su arranged him to be in this team. What was his intention? First of all, I am not playing. I am checking information. Li Fan's face sank. Second, my job is only to protect the employer's safety. I don't need to listen to anyone's command, including the employer. Yu Feng's heart was broken. Sure enough. With Uncle Li's temper, no one can provoke him. What a joke. Qi Ziping looked at Li Fan disdainfully. Which one of us here isn't an international elite? Is there any place for you to be rash? At such a young age, your tone is so arrogant. I think you lack a lesson. Come on, teach me a lesson. Li Fan beckoned him with his finger. He didn't believe this. He was here to protect the employer, not to be a lackey. Why should he be ordered around by this guy? If his tone was a little more polite, Li Fan wouldn't have quarreled with him. What he couldn't stand was this person's arrogant tone. Who gave him the right? Someone is really looking for a beating. A tanned bodyguard beside Qi Ziping rubbed his knuckles, making cracking sounds. I'll teach you the rules. Chapter 130. Let me teach you the rules. The one who was about to make a move was a member of Qi Ziping's team. His name was Jiao Hongli. Qi Ziping's team had a total of 5 people. Everyone was an expert, but they were proficient in different things. Qi Ziping was proficient in strategy and planning. Every protection plan was formulated by him. Moreover, he was also in charge of commanding and dispatching the scene. His overall strength was also the strongest in this team. His representative was called the Brain. As for Jiao Hongli, he was proficient in close combat. His nickname was Hatchet Man. Jiao Hongli himself was also on the blacklist of many underground boxing competitions. Most underground boxing competitions prohibited him from participating. One reason was that he would definitely be the champion if he went, so he couldn't gamble. The second reason was that this guy was too cruel. In a dark arena like the underground boxing, his enemies were either missing an arm or a leg. None of them were intact. To Qi Ziping, Jiao Hongli was a sharp blade. He could use him to kill his enemies. Jiao Hongli was already sneering at this time. His eyes had already swept across a few vital parts of Li Fan's body. It was as if he would tear Li Fan apart in the next second. Please don't be angry. Unite, unite. Yu Feng didn't know how to persuade them. He had no right to speak here. The scene was a little awkward. The atmosphere was very heavy. No one cared about him at all. However, to his relief, a Rolls-Royce had already entered the airport and was driving towards them. Missy is here. After he shouted, Qi Ziping's team members turned around to take a look. Then, they stood there like javelins. Although they were a little arrogant, their professionalism was indeed very strong. Li Fan couldn't help but praise them. He turned his head to look at the stopped Rolls-Royce. Yu Feng went forward and respectfully opened the door. A familiar figure walked out from the car. Li Fan almost vomited blood. Fuck your mother. It's actually her. Ayo, isn't this Hero Li? Liu Xinnan was wearing a very casual denim shirt. Her legs looked very slender, and her small buttocks were very perky. She wore a pair of fleece riding boots and a western cowboy hat on her head. If other girls were to dress like this, they would definitely look weird and chunibya. However, When Liu Xinnan wore it, it had a different flavor. This was the unique advantage of being a beauty. Fuck me, why is it you? Li Fan almost vomited blood, while Qi Ziping frowned and wanted to scold him, but his employer did not allow him to speak, so he could only endure it. Su Chen said he would give me a gift. I was wondering what it was. So it's you. Liu Xinnan giggled. In Li Fan's eyes, she was a beautiful snake. Just that pair of big, black eyes. Although they were pretty, they definitely harbored evil intentions. Is it fate that brought us together, or is it fate that enemies don't meet? Liu Xinnan actually walked over and gently hooked a finger on Li Fan's chin. Li Fan took a step back and said coldly, "Missy, please conduct yourself with dignity. Yo, you have quite a character. This prince likes people like you." Liu Xinnan laughed instead, "But isn't our hero Li a proud and unyielding person? Why are you willing to be a lackey for someone like me today? I rely on my own ability to earn money." "What do you mean by a lackey?" Li Fan immediately retorted, "Snake woman, please respect the workers. I am your employer. My first order to you is that you are not allowed to call me Snake woman." Liu Xinnan immediately said, "You are mistaken. Although you are my employer, when Su Chen asked me to come here, he didn't say that I have to listen to your orders." Li Fan said in a loud voice, "My mission is to protect you closely for 48 hours to ensure that you are not killed by others. Other than that, I will not do it. Otherwise, what if you turn into a beast and want to sexually harass me? Go to hell. Who wants to sexually harass you?" Liu Xinnan immediately shouted, "I hired you, so you have to listen to me." "I don't want to listen." "You have to listen. If I don't want to listen, then bite me. You." Liu Xinnan was about to explode. How could this guy be so difficult to teach? However, the more difficult the prey was, the more interested Liu Xinnan was. Like Guan Wenbao, who was too honest, she quickly lost interest. Li Fan, don't think that you are so arrogant. This missy can also make you obediently lower your head. Li Fan, don't be too arrogant." Liu Xinnan put her hands on her waist and stared at Li Fan. "I am the boss, I can fire you at any time." "Fine, fire me." Li Fan said indifferently, "At worst, I will go back to the underground boxing club. I don't believe that I can't earn 60,000 yuan. Do I really have to eat your food? You." This Li Fan was like a hedgehog, his body was full of thorns, making Liu Xinnan unable to bite him. "Don't be too presumptuous." Qi Ziping finally couldn't bear it anymore and scolded, "You are a bodyguard. A bodyguard must carry out the employer's orders. If you don't want to do it, then immediately get out of the team." "Shut up." Liu Xinnan stared at him. "Did I allow you to speak?" Qi Ziping immediately lowered his head. "Hero Li, you are the boss and I work for you. Shouldn't you at least respect me?" "Missy, this matter of respect is mutual." Li Fan replied with a smile, "Do you need me to teach you what respect is? Damn it. I hate you." Liu Xinnan looked at Li Fan angrily, but Li Fan clapped his hands. "What a coincidence, I also hate you. This is the first time we are like-minded. Su Chen, I will deal with you when we get back." Liu Xinnan shouted to the sky. Yu Feng silently felt sorry for his boss. Then, "Missy, I will bring him back." He could only bring Li Fan back first, he didn't want to continue to provoke his missy. "Who asked you to act on your own?" Liu Xinnan scolded Yu Feng. "What's wrong with the servants nowadays? Don't they know how high the sky is and how thick the earth is? How does Su Chen discipline his own people? How could he teach such a group of blind dogs?" Yu Feng could only lower his head and let Liu Xinnan scold him, not daring to say a word. "Venomous woman, are you done scolding me?" Li Fan said impatiently, "If you are angry, come at me. What's the point of venting on others?" "Angry? I'm not angry." It was an April day, a woman's face. A second ago, Liu Xinnan was still angrily scolding him, but the next second, she was smiling like a flower. "I am happy to have Hero Li to protect me. You said that you will protect me for 48 hours. You have to fulfill your duty." Li Fan's heart was drumming. This venomous woman. What is she planning? Chapter 131. Li Fan sat on the plane for 5 hours. He had always wanted to take a plane, but after taking it, he realized how boring it was. Moreover, as a martial artist, this feeling of having his feet off the ground made him feel uneasy. The plane would bump from time to time, and every time, Li Fan would feel like he was going to fall. The other bodyguards had unfastened their seat belts and occasionally moved their bodies in the plane. But Li Fan was tightly tied to his seat, not daring to move a single step. His face was pale. Liu Xinnan, the great beauty, was sitting in front of Li Fan. Her expression was natural and very leisurely. She was reading a magazine and drinking coffee. Seeing Li Fan's expression, Liu Xinnan was finally happy. She would only be happy if Li Fan suffered. That's right, her happiness would be built on this man in front of her, ruthlessly. Built on. Our hero Li, who is omnipotent, is actually afraid of taking a plane. Liu Xinnan saw that Li Fan was sweating cold sweat, and finally could not help but tease him. This time, she must make him embarrassed to take revenge for what happened in the past. Nonsense, how could I be afraid of taking a plane? Li Fan was stubborn and refused to admit it. Oh. Then why is your face white? That's because my skin is white. Li Fan muttered, my skin is so white, without any makeup, I can't do anything. Then why are your legs shaking? This is a martial art that I practice. What kind of martial art requires shaking legs? This is to train the muscles on my calves and stomach at all times. Li Fan almost believed what he said. A martial artist is also very hardworking, okay? Even a genius like me cannot relax for even a second, haha. Then why are you sweating? Nonsense, you licked it. How can you say it's cold sweat? Li Fan would not admit it even if he was beaten to death. This is because it's hot, I'm sweating. Look at you, you're really stubborn. Liu Xinnan continued to admire Li Fan's expression. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and her little tongue licked her lips. You don't have to be so scared, really. Airplanes are the safest means of transportation, and the chances of accidents are very low. Hearing Liu Xinnan's words, Li Fan's heart finally calmed down a little. But she immediately added, but if an accident happens, the survival rate is the lowest. Fuck you. Fuck your ancestors. Fuck your entire family. Li Fan couldn't help but want to curse. This Liu Xinnan definitely did it on purpose. Sometimes, I just think, what would happen if the plane really had an accident? Liu Xinnan admired Li Fan's expression as she continued, the plane will freefall to the ground at an extreme speed. That feeling of powerlessness and weightlessness, do you think timid people would be so scared that they would pee their pants? Black lines appeared on Li Fan's forehead. Would it kill you to speak less? Would it kill you? You're really fucking tofu. Hero Li, can you answer me? Liu Xinnan looked at Li Fan who was about to collapse, and couldn't help but giggle. Snake woman, a female devil. Li Fan couldn't stop cursing in his heart. At this moment, the plane suddenly trembled heavily, and then fell at an extreme speed. Liu Xinnan couldn't laugh anymore. Her face was even paler than Li Fan's, and she let out a scream. Her body floated up gently, and her hat flew up. She desperately grabbed onto the armrest, and her scream became louder. Li Fan didn't hesitate at this moment. He reached out to unbuckle his seatbelt, and then let his body sink. His feet seemed to be rooted to the cabin floor. At the same time, he stretched out his hands, grabbed Liu Xinnan's seatbelt, and buckled it for her, while he cursed. Motherfucker, you're such a jerk. Who told you to jinx it? Help. I don't want to die. Sob sob sob. Liu Xinnan hugged Li Fan like a life-saving straw, and clung onto him like an octopus. Her seat belt was still holding onto two people, which made Li Fan very uncomfortable. You, let go of me. I don't want to. I want you to die for me. You're looking for a scapegoat. Li Fan was very depressed, and the bodyguards in the cabin were also panicking. A plane crash wasn't within their scope of business. Go to the cabin quickly, Chi Ziping immediately ordered, and when they were about to move, the plane slowly lifted up, and gradually stabilized. The captain's voice of apology was heard over the radio. I'm sorry, dear passengers, there was an emergency airflow just now, but we have flown over safely. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, But Liu Shinnan was about to cry. When I go back, I must fire that stupid captain. Don't let him hear this. Li Fan hurriedly advised, if he takes things too hard and takes us with him. That would not be good. Damn. Bastard. Liu Shinnan shouted a few times, and suddenly pushed Li Fan away, and then lowered her head, biting her lips tightly. What's wrong with you? Li Fan was somewhat curious. What's wrong with Liu Shinnan all of a sudden? Liu Shinnan didn't speak, just lowered her head, and bit her lips so hard that it almost bled. Li Fan suddenly thought of something, and his eyes blinked a few times. You. Don't. You shut up. You really peed your pants. I'm going to kill you. I must. Liu Shinnan actually cried, but Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fuck, you were just flirting with me, and now you have a problem. Ayaya, there's a saying that makes fun of people, they are inferior to others. I'm going to kill you. Bastard. Here you go. Li Fan took off his suit jacket and put it on Liu Shinnan's legs. Go to the bathroom and change. Did you bring a change of clothes? In the suitcase. Li Fan got up and took out the suitcase. When he opened it, it was full of girls' clothes. But there were also a few pieces of underwear. Li Fan found that this woman's favorite style of underwear turned out to be leopard print. What a wild snake woman. Bastard. Close your eyes. Liu Shinnan scolded. Okay, I'll close my eyes. Li Fan closed his eyes and listened to Liu Shinnan rustling as she chose her clothes. Then, she seemed to get up and go to the bathroom. Li Fan silently closed the suitcase for her, and suddenly frowned. Qi Ziping. Li Fan called out. The baldy was closing his eyes to rest, but hearing Li Fan's call, he opened one eye, and then became furious. You pervert, why are you staring at Miss Underwear? Calm down, look at this, what does it look like? Li Fan said, took out a small silver box from a bag in the suitcase, and carefully put it on top of the clothes. Qi Ziping's expression froze. Chapter 132. Plastic Bomb. Qi Ziping was known as a security expert, so he was very familiar with this kind of thing. Such a big one, it's enough to send all of us to heaven. A slightly thin bodyguard next to him immediately stepped forward and checked the small silver box. New model, new code, looks like it's done by an expert. This person was called Cho Ao, an explosives expert in Qi Ziping's team. His codename was Bomb Disposal Expert. Are you confident? Qi Ziping and the others gathered around and stared at the plastic bomb. They didn't know who did something to Missy's suitcase without anyone knowing. They probably didn't know how everyone died in the end. Who knew, in Missy's suitcase, there was such a terrible Grim Reaper hidden? 80% sure. Cho Ao had already taken out his own set of tools, including a very professional notebook. He connected the notebook to the plastic bomb and then tapped something on it. Hey, according to the setting of the TV series, shouldn't we cut some red line or something? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Layman. Qi Ziping reprimanded. What era are we in? Nowadays, bombs are executed by computers. Alright, I'm AOTE. Don't interrupt, don't disturb the bomb disposal expert. The few of them didn't dare to make a sound. This was related to their lives. The bomb will detonate in 10 minutes. Cho Ao's expression became more and more nervous. The time given to me is too short. At this time, Liu Shinnan had already changed her clothes and just walked out of the bathroom. As a result, she saw a few men surrounding her underwear, as if they were having a research meeting. She immediately exploded. You perverts. I'm going to fire you. Stop it, there's a bomb. Li Fan glared at Liu Shinnan. Liu Shinnan was about to get angry, but when she heard this, she was shocked. What did you say? Bomb? Yes, it's in your suitcase. Li Fan pointed at the small silver box. Why didn't you check it before going out? I don't know. Liu Shinnan was about to cry. The maids at home helped me pack my luggage. A new maid? I'm not sure. I never pay attention to their faces. Liu Shinnan's heart raced as she subconsciously glanced at Qi Ziping. Can it be dismantled? We're working hard, Missy. No. Cho Ao's face turned bitter as he broke out in cold sweat. I underestimated him. His bomb calculations were too precise. There were 3,800 code locks. I accidentally triggered the trap just now, and the time of the bomb was shortened by 7 minutes. There are only 3 minutes left. Bastard. I'm going to fire you. Liu Xinnan was about to collapse. Why did she encounter such a thing as soon as she left home? Don't panic. What's the use of firing him? He's already tried his best. Li Fan stood up and pressed Liu Xinnan down on the seat and fastened her seatbelt. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. When there are 30 seconds left, ask the captain to open the hatch. You're crazy. Jiao Hongli was shocked. This is crazy. This is the only way. Qi Ziping frowned slightly. Unfortunately, there's no time to make a set of protective measures. However, there's still some danger. We can try to crack it again. All of you stop. Li Fan was getting impatient. There's not much time left. Listen to me obediently. I'm the professional. Qi Ziping still maintained his arrogance at this time, but Liu Xinnan knew Li Fan's ability. She hurriedly shouted. All of you sit down and listen to Li Fan, otherwise, all of you get off the plane. Since Missy had spoken, Qi Ziping didn't dare to act rashly. He opened the manual lock of the hatch and ordered all the bodyguards to sit down and fasten their seatbelts. Cho Ao sat there, calculating the time accurately in his mind. 45 seconds left. Almost there. Snake and Scorpion Woman. Ask the captain to open the hatch. Liu Xinnan didn't care what he called her. She pressed the microphone beside her and ordered the captain to open the hatch. Excuse-me. The captain thought he had heard wrongly. Quickly open the hatch. I'm sorry. As the captain, I can't do this. Although you're the boss, I'm the professional pilot. Opening the hatch is very dangerous. Even if you fire me, I can't do such a dangerous thing. Please respect me. I have my own rules of flight and my own piloting ethics. Immediately. Now. Li Fan roared, there's a bomb on the plane. The cabin door immediately opened. A huge suction force erupted from the cabin door. The entire plane started to lose its balance. Li Fan had already prepared himself mentally, but at this moment, he still panicked. At this moment, all the loose objects in the cabin, including cups and boxes, were instantly sucked out and scattered into the sky. Some objects were stuck beside the cabin door, including the bomb that Li Fan had just thrown out. The plastic bomb was stuck on the handle of the cabin door, but the time was running out. Li Fan didn't have any other way. He looked at Liu Xinnan opposite him, then stretched out his hands and unbuckled his seatbelt. At that moment, the strong suction force almost pulled Li Fan out, but he circulated the vital energy in his body, imitating the dragon toad's absorption of water kung fu, and sucked on the ground. Not only his feet, but he also found it difficult to stand. Li Fan was lying in the cabin. Relying on his strong internal energy, he sucked on the ground and crawled towards the bomb step by step. Time was running out. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Fan. They were all shocked by this man's courage and his unique ability. A normal person would have been sucked away. Come here. There was still a meter left, but there wasn't enough time. Li Fan suddenly stretched out his right hand and used the dragon toad's absorption of water kung fu on the plastic bomb. His powerful internal energy and the surrounding suction force resisted each other, and he actually managed to pull the plastic bomb back. Scram! Li Fan used his vital energy on the bomb again and pushed it out. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared behind the plane. Boom! In less than 3 seconds, the bomb exploded. But the speed of the plane was too fast. In an instant, it left the explosion zone. The shaky cabin door was slowly closing. Li Fan stood up and helped pull the manual lock. Everyone let out a long sigh of relief. Although Li Fan was an amateur, he had saved everyone. Motherfucker, Li Fan wiped his cold sweat. I will never fly again. Chapter 133. The next few hours were uneventful. At 12 o'clock at night, the plane finally landed at Nagasaki Airport. Young master is finally back on the ground. Li Fan fiercely stomped his feet on the ground, too fucking happy. Qi Ziping wanted to stop him, but he finally held back. But Liu Xinnan could not help but ridicule. Really, a country bumpkin, isn't it just taking a plane? Is there a need to scare you like that? I'm a country bumpkin, just now when I peed. Before Li Fan could finish his words, Liu Xinnan hurriedly covered his mouth. Believe it or not, this miss will kill you. Bah, obviously you provoked me first. Li Fan pulled Liu Xinnan's hand away and said uncomfortably. In short, this matter is not allowed to be mentioned again. Forget it for this miss. Liu Xinnan lowered her voice and whispered in Li Fan's ear. Ayaya. What should I do? Li Fan pretended to say, I don't have any other ability, but my memory is especially good. This kind of thing is really impressive. Impressive, your sister. Immediately forget it for this miss. I won't forget. I'll kill you. Come on, do it. Li Fan raised his neck. Since ancient times, who doesn't die? Leave a loyal heart to be remembered in history. You're being reasonable. Of course, if I say I won't forget, then I won't forget. Bastard. Liu Xinnan suddenly remembered that this guy is penniless, so she changed her method. If coercion doesn't work, then she will use temptation. If you forget this matter, I'll give you 100,000. No. 1 million. No. Aren't you poor? Why won't you do it even if I give you money? Someone gives you 10 million to fuck you, will you do it? Li Fan asked Liu Xinnan with a smile. Vulgar. This miss certainly won't do it. That settles it. Although you're not going to fuck my body, you're going to fuck my soul. My soul is a priceless treasure that cannot be exchanged for even 1,000 gold pieces. Then I'll give you 10 million. I want to fuck you. Will you do it? Liu Xinnan suddenly asked. That, please take protective measures. Go to hell. Liu Xinnan angrily kicked Li Fan's calf. She had changed into a short denim skirt in advance, and when she lifted her legs, it was quite a sight to behold. Li Fan reluctantly withdrew his gaze. This snake woman was poisonous. He must not have any thoughts about her. Although the autumn wind was blowing in City A, the climate in Japan was still relatively warm. Liu Xinnan was wearing a miniskirt. She looked relaxed, but the bodyguards had a hard time. Although the material of the clothes was good and breathable, they were still thick. Li Fan was fine. After all, he couldn't wear his suit jacket for the time being. But the foreheads of the few men next to him were already slightly sweating. This industry was not easy to do. Although the salary was quite high, not only did they suffer, but they were also in constant danger. If it weren't for him just now, everyone on the plane would probably be in the sky. Qi Ziping was a very careful person. Even before he boarded the plane, he had been checked by him. But he didn't expect that there would be a problem on the employer's side. Just how many enemies did this Liu Xinnan have? Why would there be people who deliberately wanted to kill her? Just as Li Fan was thinking, a few black-suited men had already come down from the cruisers at the airport, surrounding a middle-aged man from the island country. They stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Liu Xinnan, muttering in Japanese. To Li Fan's surprise, Liu Xinnan actually answered him fluently. Then, she led them to a nanny van. What are you looking at? Liu Xinnan noticed that Li Fan had been looking at her and couldn't help but ask. You're a Japanese. Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Go to hell, you're the Japanese. Liu Xinnan spat. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. My father has some business in Japan, so I learned Japanese from a young age. I was born and raised in Huaxia, okay? Then you're a traitor. Damn it, who instilled such thoughts into you? Liu Xinnan was furious. You're a traitor just because you're cooperating with the Japanese. What era is it now? Don't tell me you're going to be like those nationalistic youths, going out to smash Japanese cars. Is there anything wrong with boycotting Japanese products? Li Fan thought of some of the words he had seen on the internet and couldn't help but ask, if we were to chase the Japanese companies out of China, wouldn't they starve to death? What qualifications do they have to be cocky with us? Idiot. Liu Xinnan rolled her eyes. You only know one side and don't know the other. Let's take the Japanese cars as an example. The majority of the Japanese cars are produced in joint ventures with China, and China's companies also hold a large share. By boycotting the so-called Japanese products, you're forcing our China's factories to go bankrupt, injuring 1,000 enemies, injuring 800 of our own. At that time, China will be filled with starving people. Will you be responsible for feeding them? That's still better than relying on the Japanese. Don't we need the national integrity that doesn't fear death? That's the worst plan. Liu Xinnan snorted coldly, a boorish man's actions. Let me tell you, we're playing politics, we're playing economics. Then what's the best plan? Would you like to hear the details? Boiling the frog in warm water. When Liu Xinnan talked about this, it was as if she had changed into a different person. This is what the US Empire used on us back then, and now we're using it on the Japanese. My father is infiltrating some of their important industries. As long as we can control them in the future, we can control the economic lifeline of the Japanese. The Japanese are a country with capital, and the capitalists control the entire country. At that time, the Japanese will naturally come and lick our boots, and be used by us. So black-bellied. Li Fan could not help but think of Bai Lin Luo. Only Little Four Eyes can think of this kind of brainstorm. I still prefer to be straightforward. If I don't like it, then I'll talk with my fist. That's why I said you're just a boorish man. I'm a martial artist. This is the way we martial artists survive. Li Fan is unhappy. Furthermore, if it wasn't for me, this so-called boorish man, you, a high-level intellectual, would have already died in a plane crash. Do you understand? Mph, who needs you to save me? I hate you. Liu Xinnan turned her head away, not looking at Li Fan. This woman really needed to be taught a lesson. If I were her father, I would really spank her 100 times a day. Speaking of which, her little butt is quite perky. The feeling of spanking should be quite good. Being her father should be very blissful. Go go go, what am I thinking about in my head? But, to encounter such a danger right after setting off, how chaotic will this 2 days and 2 nights journey be? Li Fan suddenly starts to regret, he should not have accepted this job. Hopefully, the heavens will bless and not cause any more trouble. Chapter 134. The place where Liu Xinnan and the rest are staying is a very large Japanese-style house. The architectural style here was the exact opposite of Murong mansions. Murong mansion was the kind of ancient Chinese mansion. It was divided into several entrances and exits, and each courtyard was connected to the next. It was particular about square, layout, and feng shui. However, this Japanese-style house was a typical shogunate style. The yard was full of cherry trees, and one wooden house was connected to another. In the middle of the yard, there was a 3-story Japanese-style castle-like building, which made Li Fan feel like he had entered a game of Japan. I have something good for you. Just as Li Fan is looking around, Cho Ao suddenly nudges him lightly with his elbow, and then gives him a hearing aid. What is it? Li Fan is a little curious as he reaches out to take it. At the same time, Qi Ziping happens to be looking over. Cho Ao acts as if nothing happened and continues to follow Liu Xinnan with his head held high and chest puffed out. Li Fan puts the headset on his ear. He realizes that the conversation between the short middle-aged man and Liu Xinnan is actually being translated at the same time. Miss Liu, it has been hard on you to come all the way to our Cherry Blossom Manor. Don't mention it. Liu Xinnan smiles. Mr. Yamada's birthday is tomorrow. No matter what, I have to come over to congratulate him. When this Liu Xinnan talks to the Japanese shorty, her manner is completely different, giving off the feeling of a businesswoman. Could it be that this venomous woman has a split personality? Mr. Yamada is looking forward to working with your company this time. The Japanese shorty continues, he has been waiting for you for a long time. Please lead the way, Mr. Kojima. Although the translation of their conversation is somewhat mechanical, it is still understandable. It is better than listening to gibberish. Li Fan said that the simultaneous translation device should be with Cho Ao, and he only gave him a Bluetooth headset. This group of people is really amazing, even the equipment is so professional. With such a simultaneous translation, it is indeed much more convenient to go anywhere. After all, he was an international super bodyguard. It was hard not to admire him. Mr. Yamada is just ahead. Milady, please. The few of them walked to the front of a quiet little thatched cottage. A spring was still flowing in the courtyard, adding a sense of tranquility to the courtyard. Next to them was a bamboo forest. Li Fan kept glancing at it from time to time. In the past, assassins liked to ambush in the bamboo forest. This time, it shouldn't be so vulgar, right? He laughed self-deprecatingly. He was really a little frightened by the mere twang of a bow. Now that he was in someone else's territory, such a big island tycoon, the protection measures should be very good. Along the way, there were many bodyguards in the courtyard. Just wait for me at the door, Liu Xinnan instructed. Qi Ziping nodded. I'll go with you. Li Fan had a responsibility. He didn't want Liu Xinnan to die inexplicably. In the end, not only would he have made a wasted trip, he would also have to pay 120,000 yuan, baka. The Japanese shorty seemed to understand Chinese. Hearing Li Fan's words, he immediately became angry. You are not qualified to see Mr. Yamada. Can I beat him up? Li Fan pointed at the shorty and asked. Mr. Kojima's karate is already a second dan. Liu Xinnan didn't seem to care. It's not that I didn't remind you. Li Fan had a feeling that this woman seemed to be provoking him. All right, little Japanese, come, young master will play with you. Li Fan hooked his finger at the Japanese shorty. I disdain to fight with you. The Japanese shorty coldly snorted. Coward. Li Fan curled his lips. Are you afraid because I'm taller than you? You dare to humiliate me. I am a great samurai. The Japanese shorty immediately couldn't hold it anymore. He first bowed towards the thatched cottage. Mr. Yamada, please forgive me. I want to seek justice for my samurai. I'm talking about your height, not your samurai, idiot. Li Fan reminded him, seeing that you're short, I'll let you use only one hand. Baka. The Japanese shorty held back his anger and still bowed towards Li Fan. Please enlighten me. Just as his voice fell, he was already like a thunderbolt. With 2 big steps, he instantly appeared in front of Li Fan. Following that, he sent a palm straight towards Li Fan's cheek. Most of the karate moves were simple, but the power was not weak. This person's attack carried a faint sound of wind and thunder. He was indeed an expert. But this was nothing to Li Fan. Snake strike. Spirit snake comes out of its hole. Li Fan's right hand instantly reached out and coiled around the Japanese shorty's arm, locking his attack. At the same time, his fingers were pressed against the Japanese shorty's throat. If Li Fan wanted to, this attack could even pierce through his neck. The Japanese shorty was stunned for a moment, as if he didn't expect that he would fail. Li Fan released his hand, and the Japanese shorty suddenly pressed his palm against it, as if he was unconvinced. Pa. Li Fan's right hand once again reached out and locked his opponent's arm. His fingers once again pressed against the Japanese shorty's throat. The Japanese shorty felt as if it wasn't a hand on his throat, but a spitting venomous snake. Cold sweat appeared on his back, but he said, I'm not convinced. Your martial arts are too evil. Ridiculous. As Li Fan said that, he pressed down with his hand, causing the Japanese shorty to kneel on the ground. Nimble snake strikes out of hole was used to defend and counterattack. It could lock the enemy's attack, and it could also be a fatal move. Li Fan had already spared this person's life twice. Are you convinced? I'm not convinced. The Japanese shorty's mouth was very stubborn. Just as Liu Xinnan was thinking about what he would do, Li Fan released his hand once again. The Japanese shorty stabilized his body, then suddenly used a palm strike. With all his strength, he slapped towards Li Fan. Black Bear slamming the door. Li Fan didn't dodge, and with his feet rooted to the ground, he met the Japanese shorty's palm strike. Bam! The Japanese shorty's body flew out and fell to the ground. His left arm was already crippled. I'm bored to death. Li Fan sighed, even if I gave you a handicap of one hand, you still couldn't win. This palm strike of yours, compared to Liao Bing's thunderbolt palm, is too far off. Ayaya. You bodyguard, how can you be like this? You are too disobedient. Liu Xinnan suddenly reprimanded Li Fan, when we go back, I will fire you. Li Fan blinked his eyes, not knowing what she meant. The Japanese shorty quietly stood up, walked to the front of the thatched hut, and knelt down. He pulled out a katana from his waist, which was used to cut the abdomen, and held it with one hand, shouting, "Mr. Yamada, I have let you down." As he said that, he stabbed the katana into his abdomen, and then pulled it horizontally. Blood and intestines flowed out together. 2 maids came forward and dragged him away. Li Fan was stunned. What the hell? What situation was this? Chapter 135. I didn't expect my niece to have such an expert under her. Finally, a voice came out from inside the thatched cottage. Looks like the owner of this house could not help but speak. 2 maids pulled open the curtain, revealing the scene inside. The thatched cottage was not big, there was only a tatami mat and a small tea table inside. An old man wearing a Japanese kimono was kneeling there, full of vigor. Behind him was a painting, written in hand script, with a big slash character. He himself was on the table with a piece of rice paper, holding a brush in his hand, writing something. Looking at his technique, it was vigorous and powerful. He should be a martial arts practitioner. Li Fan's eyes were very sharp now. He could tell with a glance whether someone practiced martial arts or not. Just like what Murong Ying had said, after reaching a certain level, the world in his eyes would become different. "Sorry for making you laugh, Mr. Yamada." Although Liu Xinnan said so, there was no hint of apology on her face. Both of them were speaking in Chinese at the moment, so it was a waste of simultaneous translation. "It is a pity for your right-hand man. Tomorrow is your birthday. My Liu family will naturally give you a big gift to express my regret. Niece, you are really too polite." Only then did the old man called Mr. Yamada raise his head, look at her, and chuckle. It was Kojima-kuen's own incompetence. He died for his own samurai Dao, and at the moment of his death, he also washed away his shame. Samurai, and the culture of disembowelment, were naturally not popular among ordinary families in Japan. But in this kind of prestigious family, the rules were still very strict. Even a servant must strictly follow them. This kid's fighting skills are not bad. He should be able to take 3 moves from Kongshan-kuen. Li Fan was unhappy. Who the hell is this Kongshan-kuen? He makes it sound so cool. I was able to last a few rounds against Murong Ying, so why would I be afraid of a Japanese devil like you? When I talk to Murong Ying about this, she will definitely laugh. Kongshan-kuen is the #1 expert in Japan. You really think too highly of my bodyguard. Li Fan was about to speak when Liu Xinnan pressed his hand. "Mr. Yamada, seeing that you're writing, we won't disturb you. When it's your birthday tomorrow, I, Ding Dang, will accompany you for a drink or 2. Alright, I've already asked the servants to arrange the best guest rooms for you. Don't stand on ceremony here, just be casual." As soon as he finished speaking, the curtain was lowered. Another maid came and led them to the guest rooms, and finally stopped in front of a Japanese-style house. Inside the house was a large suite. Qi Ziping assigned several bodyguards tasks to keep an eye on them in different places. Li Fan shamelessly followed Liu Xinnan into the house. "Take off your clothes." As soon as they entered, Liu Xinnan said while tying up her hair. "What are you trying to do, you beast?" Li Fan hugged his arm. "I'm not such a casual person." "Casual your sister, who would molest a stupid pig like you." Liu Xinnan unbuttoned her clothes and rolled her eyes at Li Fan at the same time. "Your clothes are so dirty. I've already asked someone to send new clothes. Then go take a bath. This miss does not want to stay in a room with a smelly dog." As she spoke, she took off her shirt, revealing the leopard print bra inside. "Fuck. You still say you don't have any thoughts?" Seeing Liu Xinnan's honesty, Li Fan's mouth became dry. "What's wrong, in this miss's eyes? You're just a pet dog." Liu Xinnan disapprovingly said, "So what if I'm seen by a dog? I won't lose a piece of meat." "Snake woman, there's a problem with your worldview. Li Fan is unhappy, this insufferably arrogant woman. What's wrong? Could it be that you have a reaction?" Liu Xinnan has already stripped down to her underwear. Although her chest is not big, her figure is quite good, a standard model's figure. She does not have any fat on her body, and it seems that she often works out. The color of her skin is very healthy. The proportion of her calves and thighs is also very good, very pleasing to the eye. Especially her very perky butt. It can be considered as the most beautiful woman that Li Fan has ever seen. God is indeed fair, he gave Murongying big breasts, Lin Yuhin long legs, and Liu Xinnan perky butt. Speaking of which, what did he give to Murong? Thinking of his fiendish sister-in-law, Li Fan only felt that he might have given her a beautiful face. Liu Xinnan walked over and stood in front of Li Fan. A burst of fragrance assailed his nostrils. Li Fan turned his head away. I absolutely cannot let this snake woman corrupt my pure heart. Why don't you dare to look at this miss? Liu Xinnan appreciates Li Fan's somewhat unnatural expression. Could it be that this miss will eat you? That's right. Li Fan bluntly said, you are a snake woman, eating people without spitting out the bones. Humph, to tell you the truth, this miss hates stinky men like you the most. Liu Xinnan really changes her face as she likes. A second ago, she was still smiling at Li Fan, teasing him in all kinds of ways, and the next second, her face sunk, her eyes filled with anger. A group of self-righteous fellows, animals that think with their lower body. Your thinking is distorted. Were you raped by a man when you were a child? Li Fan bluntly asked. You're courting death. Liu Xinnan was unbearably angry. She suddenly grabbed a fruit knife from the table beside her and stabbed it towards Li Fan's neck. But how could Li Fan be hurt by this woman? He grabbed Liu Xinnan's wrist and then squeezed it. The fruit knife fell down, and Li Fan grabbed it with his other hand, then pressed it on Liu Xinnan's white neck. If you weren't my employer, you would be dead now. Li Fan whispered in her ear, then pushed Liu Xinnan away. Bastard, you only know how to bully women. Liu Xinnan was about to explode. Do you believe that this miss can find 100 experts to beat you to death? Please. Li Fan pushed Liu Xinnan's phone on the table forward. Bastard. Liu Xinnan grabbed the phone and threw it at Li Fan, but Li Fan dodged it. The phone smashed into the wall behind, breaking into pieces. But it's not too late. Liu Xinnan casually began to grab whatever was around her. The table lamp, vase, everything was thrown by her, but it definitely couldn't hit Li Fan. They were all scrapped on the wall. Hearing the sound of smashing in the room, Qi Ziping stopped his subordinate. Let them fight. We can't do anything about it. He finally understood. These two are not the boss and bodyguard relationship, they are clearly a pair of enemies. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.